Hello and a very warm welcome to all the viewers of 3.0 TV. This is Manoj Dara.
And I'm Ruchi Sharma.
So Cardano, a proof-of-stake blockchain platform that was founded back in 2017 and named after 16th century Italian polymath Gerolamo Cardano, earlier today, that is roughly around 3:45 AM India time, successfully completed the first phase of its delayed upgrade, the Vasil hard fork.
The Vasil hard fork is part of Cardano's Basho era, one of the key development phases on the Cardano roadmap, focusing on optimization, scalability, and interoperability. Vasil will bring improvements to the Cardano network, making it more scalable and increasing its efficiency and cost effectiveness, Input-Output Global said in a Twitter thread. We have invited special guests to discuss Cardano's Vasil hard fork in detail. Let me introduce you to Anuj Garg, Vice President ZebPay. Welcome to 3.0 TV, Anuj.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
And we have another special guest with us, Venu Bora, founder Blockchain Productivity Forum India. Welcome, Venu.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, welcome to both the gentlemen. So since we're talking about Cardano's Vasil hard fork, so Anuj, my first question to you is, what is the Vasil hard fork and what is the objective and the way forward, if you can just begin with, sir?
So, before actually moving to the Vasil hard fork, we first need to see that what is the hard fork itself. Okay, so Cardano is one of the most innovative blockchains of our times, which it is one of the most thoroughly researched blockchains of our time. And there are continuous set of improvements that needs to be driven to the Cardano chain. So this is one of the major upgrade to the Cardano chain, where the objective is to bring the sweeping changes to the network, thereby impacting the transaction fees. So one of the objective is to reduce the transaction fees. Another objective is to increase the speed. And the third objective is to ease the development of decentralized applications, which are also called as dApps. Vasil was one of the key influencer for Cardano. So this fork is named after him. He was a famous environmentalist and a very key influencer for Cardano. So this is named after him. And this upgrade is likely to bring the sweeping changes to the Cardano development environment. This will bring a lot of new apps to the system, and Cardano, steadily is moving towards becoming a very tough competitor for some of the primary chains like Ethereum.
Okay. My question is to you, Venu. It is said that the Vasil hard fork will be very cost effective and it will increase efficiency, it will increase scalability. I want to know how cost effective it will be, how will the efficiency increase, and talking about transactions per second. So what was the transaction per second on Cardano before the Vasil hard fork, and what is the transaction per second now after the hard fork?
Very interesting question. See, this is very subjective question. We have to kind of step back and answer first question, what exactly is this Vasil upgrade actually is bringing to Cardano? Now, Cardano's this upgrade is basically bringing 4 SIPs, Cardano improvement proposals, 31 different from the conventional or imperative style of programming. Let's be more specific here. In the DeFi ecosystem that we know of, which is popular, Solidity is used, and a lot of it is revolves around the contract interoperability only in Solidity, and then EVM based languages. However, of transaction, so it is still very slow for smart contracts on Cardano. Vasil upgrade actually brings in couple of features, as I said. SIP 31, which is nothing but it is basically used for reference inputs. It's called reference inputs, where you no longer need to attach some assigned data set which needs to be verified again. Instead, you would basically be able to look at information then and there. So the processing time reduces. That's one. And of course, there are other elements of inline datums and all that. That would probably be of a technical discussion, though. It will need some time, but that's where the slight change is coming up as a beginning now, and it'll be more on chain rather than off chain and on chain combination, which is tough to handle for scenarios or use cases, both DeFi or non-DeFi, GameFi, and all other use cases.
Fantastic. So, all right, that's a word coming in from Venu that the process will fasten. That's what you
Yes,
know.
of course.
But let's give a small background. What happened today. So, enthusiasts and supporters of the blockchain were able to watch the hard fork live on Twitter Spaces and Cardano's co-founder Charles Hoskinson.
Hard forks are permanent updates to a blockchain protocol that requires all nodes or users to upgrade to the latest version of protocol software. The Wasil hard fork will deploy new Wasil features to the network without losing existing data on the old blockchain input-output set.
So, speaking in his vlog ahead of the upgrade about Cardano's gradual approach to adding new capabilities, founder Charles Hoskinson said, "We knew that over time we could get to what Ethereum has done, but we understand a roadmap to get there." So, my second question to Anuj is, what is the roadmap and what it intends, the Cardano universe intends to achieve with this upgrade, and how will the ecosystem evolve or mature around this upgrade?
Yeah, so I think a very good question. So some of the improvements that are expected post this upgrade is first is the reduction of the transaction cost, which is one of the major concerns of any blockchain. Especially if you look Ethereum and various other chains, the transactions cost are very, very high. Cardano has always been very, very competitive when it comes to the transaction cost. But here in this upgrade, what has happened is the size of the block has increased. The transactions, because it has been divided into on-chain, off-chain with the help of this new programming interface. So the load on the network has reduced, and therefore the transaction cost has also reduced. So on an average, where the transaction cost used to be $0.15 or $0.16 for a particular transaction, it is likely to reduce by at least 10 to 20% with this major upgrade. And similarly, because you are able to club more transactions into the block, you can expect more scalability and
Fantastic.
speed on this chain. So as third, which is one of the major thing, is it has opened the door for more developers to contribute. The programming interface has been made much more easy, much more scalable. And the primary market, which was focused on Cardano, which was like 40% of which was only NFTs, I think it will open door for more production grade dApps to be developed on Cardano.
So, scalability,
Yes.
speed, and the way forward looks good for the developers.
Actually. Okay, so Charles Hoskinson also said that the Cardano POS system is better than the Ethereum POS system. My question is to you, Vinu. How is the Cardano POS system better than Ethereum's POS system? And is it so?
Well, I personally feel he is right, because now the beauty with Cardano is it's research driven, unlike other blockchains, which are basically run by few very bright minds. Cardano essentially is peer driven. That means one team comes up with a certain set of actions or new set of rules that needs to be added. It is not just passed on to or tested directly onto the blockchain. It goes across the globe into universities. It's peer reviewed. This is first of its kind, and now other blockchains are following up. In that sense, definitely there are great minds around. For example, Agilios is there. Agilios, who is from the University of Nicosia, and a couple of other Edinburgh, sorry to correct that, the University of Edinburgh. These people are pioneers of in the industry, consensus, persistence, and every layer is concerned. Seniority-wise, research-wise, Cardano has a strong backing. However, there are very smart minds on the Ethereum side also. They have a different view on how the consensus should be driven. So in that sense, there is a little bit of research that needs to be caught up in terms of pure consensus layer from Cardano. But both are at a very good strength technically.
So as far as the team strength is concerned, both are having a strong team. But what Anuj sir has said that Wasil will enhance Cardano's smart contract capabilities through Plutus V2, which adds greater efficiency to an already powerful smart contract platform. So ultimately, it will reduce script execution cost and transaction size, plus improve the throughput.
Cardano has often been criticized for its smart contract limitations. Unlike the Ethereum blockchain, Cardano records UTXO or unsent transaction outputs to keep a tab on the coins left in user's wallet after a transaction is made. So my question to you, Mr. Anuj, is what is Plutus V2? It's too technical. Can you please simplify this for us and for our viewers?
Yeah, Plutus V2 is nothing but a kind of a foundational layer for Cardano. So it provides the dApp development capabilities to the users, and basically like in Ethereum, when you have a EVM machine which basically converts your smart contracts into the executables and then give it to the nodes to execute. Similarly, this Plutus network provides the capabilities for Cardano developers to develop their smart contracts and basically give it to the network to execute. Yes, it is correct that Cardano is primarily based on the UTXO concept, which is used in Bitcoin. In Ethereum, we have something called as world state, which keeps the recent state of the data, and every time you don't have to do the UTXO.
Fantastic.
But UTXO gives you the firm outcomes when it comes to the establishing the trust in the network. And I think in the latest update, they have revised the way the UTXO is calculated to minimize the time that is captured in traversing through the chain. So UTXO mechanism has also been optimized to a certain extent. I think more improvements will be seen in the subsequent forks that will happen. But yes, I think this is there, and hopefully we will have much better UTXO based systems in the future times to come with more scalability options.
So when what I've picked, what Anuj has said is we have seen many times in Avenger series that time travel is something which is very interesting. But what Mr. Anuj has said, that the transaction or the way the thing will travel, it becomes much more faster. What's your opinion about this technical aspect?
Throughput in blockchains definitely is something that now is of interest to a lot of people. Earlier, there was days where people used to ask me personally, when I was architecting a lot of blockchains, they used to ask me, what's the TPS? What's the TPS? Is it more? Is it more? Is it more? Well, trust me, that is never a parameter that you should look at when it comes to blockchain. Now, I'll tell you, I can create a faster blockchain by running two validators, exactly like a Cardano one, but you can never trust the system because it can be a fastest, but you cannot create a trustworthy system. That's why you look at blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or the bigger blockchains that have big validator set, the processing time is always slow, but you do get considerable amount of trust out of the system. Now, what is happening here in this upgrade is there are three challenges that are being taken care. I would not say that they are already taken care, but it is an attempt to make make and ensure that it is at least a bit faster comparatively and not slow. So here, Plutus is the smart contract language. How it is you write a smart contract in Haskell that converts itself into Plutus core. Now, Plutus core executes in a shell or executive layer on the Cardano ecosystem. That's the version, right? The newer version need not create additional transaction or create actionable elements there to create that execution. That's how this is the new version. I know why it is a bit technical. It is very hard to explain, to be honest with you, trust me. So, but there is the other feature called diffusion pipelining, okay? So what does it mean is your transactions are now layered. Earlier, blockchains are performant in the sense one transaction happens, the next transaction follows. But here, Cardano is bringing diffusion pipelining. So your transactions are layered one on top. So the amount of time it takes for your transactions are less. And interoperability is another key. Cardano has been trying sidechains from a long time, and it's trying its sidechains with something called NipoPows. It's a technique. It's a cryptographic technique, and this is done long back to ensure they get into the EVM side. If that happens, then the real adoption happens. Until then, you will see that it is constantly advancing itself technologically, but the TVL or the total value locked still remains with Ethereum. That's of course the truth.
So
you
actually,
have
it's
to
a
kind
game of
make
TVL now. Once the upgrade is completed, now who is the winner? That is something which you have to understand.
Right.
Over to you.
So, meanwhile, Cardano is continuing to develop its layer 2 scaling solution, the Hydra Head protocol, which processes transactions of the Cardano blockchain while still using it as a security and settlement layer.
So, in the few hours after successful upgrade, Cardano's native token ADA climbed up nearly 5% to $0.46 in line with the broader rebound in cryptocurrency. So, Anuj, my next question to you is, what is Hydra Head protocol and how it will impact or enhance the processing of transactions?
Yeah, Hydra is what Polygon to Ethereum. So it's a layer 2 scalability solution where we divide the transaction processing and the block settlement into two different layers for efficient processing. So it provides more efficient means of processing transactions off-chain for a set of users while using the main chain ledger as the secure settlement layer. And it keeps the security guarantee while remaining loosely coupled with the main chain. So it does not require a global consensus. It can adapt to a broad range of applications. So, for example, it allows transaction fees and minimal UTXO value to be configured to as low as 1 or 2 Lovelaces, which is the
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it is, layer 2s are getting really popular in order to bring scalability. Hydra is a solution specifically built for Cardano. And I think it will be used much more extensively as Cardano gets more famous.
Okay, so moving the focus or shifting the focus to ADA coin, when the Vasil hard fork was announced, we saw a huge jump in ADA coin, and then a lull came, and now after the hard fork is done, it's complete. There's only a 5% hike that we see in the ADA coin.
So where is the optimism? That's what the
yeah. So when will we see a huge jump, and can we see that ADA coin reaching that $1 mark?
Although this is not a recommendation, Venu, just an opinion. You can.
well, I'm not a financial advisor.
All right.
So I don't see that $1 is something Cardano will achieve soon because very bearish market. But this actually has given a potential for many projects to come into Cardano. The adoption would definitely increase, and then the potential of growth, not just in terms of the coin's price, the utility of this coin would increase multifold.
That's what the utility is, and what.
Just to add what Vinu said, I think any upgrade to the project basically is a long-term play. So, its success is also dependent on how people perceive it and how many new users get added to it. So there was a lot of anticipation after ETH merge that, it will certainly become, $10K or something like that. On the other hand, it has come down significantly.
Actually,
30% it has corrected after merge.
100% it has corrected. So it's not a magical win that you just upgrade something, make it better, and you anticipate.
And this being the most costliest upgrade, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So
it is lot of amounts being on stake.
Yes.
Exactly.
So hopefully,
please go ahead, sir.
Sorry.
User acceptability, especially in some of the popular dApps, I think the price is definitely. I am very bullish about Cardano. In fact, in my crypto wallet, it has a significant percentage that I always bank upon.
I would request you to share your details with us offline as well. But Ruchi, since Venu was talking about TVLs, that is total value locked. However, Cardano's TVL continue to remain subdued, indicating lack of projects in its platform. According to the data from DeFi Llama, the Cardano network's TVL stood at around $82.26 million without staking, and after including staking, it was $101.5 million. At the peak of March, TVL had climbed to as much as $320 million. So my question to Vinu is, what is the ongoing crypto winter? Since we are witnessing a crypto winter, Cardano has a long struggle ahead and needs to keep attracting projects on its platform. How important or how this can be possible? Since you have mentioned, we have spoken in depth about what are the benefits of the Vasil hard fork. So how this can improve Cardano to gain more traction as far as the project is concerned? Ultimately, the game is about TVL.
Well, partly I would agree. Partly on the game about TVL. Now, if you look at Cardano as a project, people do think that it is functional, but it's still in making. So it is basically 5-phased project. Now the upcoming one is Basho upgrade, right? This is more on governance, and then so it's not yet complete. But the problem here is the choices that were made specifically for Cardano. Number one, adoption of a programming language that is unique. Number two is its peer-to-peer network system, and number three is taking time on a lot of testing and not looking at the market for some cues, probably, because when the smart contract feature happened in 2020, right? The problem is everybody thought that this is a game changer totally. Now this game changer even didn't really happen because the market really didn't see that this is going to be something needed of the hour, right, from Cardano. So we have to wait for more projects to come, and until then Cardano will still keep adding a lot of technical advancements. So we got to wait. It's just a waiting game now.
Mr. Anuj, Vasil hard fork is expected to increase network efficiency of Cardano and make it more developer friendly. How do you see this?
So I think Vinu already covered a concept called as diffusion pipelining. That's one of the key features that they are introducing to increase the Cardano's speed and scaling potential, and making it more network efficient. Obviously, this is one of the key features that is being introduced in this hard fork, and will definitely benefit the overall Cardano ecosystem. However, we will actually test it when we do some large scale production deployments and see that how scalable it is actually when you compare it with some of the competitor networks in it. So that's how and that will be a learning for Cardano, and maybe the future improvements will also come along with it. But yes, there are network efficiency improvements in the current system with the help of these innovations that we know already discussed, and hopefully there are many more to come in the future.
All right, since there is a lot of optimism around the Cardano's Vasil hard fork, my next question to Vinu is, will Cardano overtake Ethereum in the POS mechanism? Just your view, and if you can just simplify this for our viewers to understand, where their money should go. Although it is not a recommendation from us or from your side.
Well, this is sounding very optimistic. See, well, you will see that at the moment there are thousands of blockchains, and then few tens of blockchains that are very popular. But if you notice, all of these are fighting towards getting to the throne, and then there is nothing called throne in a blockchain world. Everything has to interoperate. Now it is just like economies of scale, right? So Ethereum is like, let's say for example, US with a $1 trillion economy, India, and let's say Cardano is like an Indian economy and all that. They have to coexist. There is no way that there will be one size fitting all. So that's definitely going to be there. The more I would say, I would call a blockchain really successful if they are able to interoperate well. So as in, let's say, for example, I have a $1 bill, and then I'm going to, let's say, India. I find an easy place to exchange, and I'll get 100 rupees for it. It is very easy now in real life, but if you look at blockchain ecosystem, it is very tough for one person carrying ADAS with them. And then exchanging it within Ether. It is very tough, and you have seen the number of violations that are happening across bridges, right? That's the biggest challenge right now. And as far as the overtaking is concerned, this is again subjective to the way you think. If purely business point of time, business angle, total value, and lot of operations are concerned, Ethereum tops anytime, at least for the near future. And for the technological side, it's almost the same. I don't see anything there, but it will certainly be an interoperability game going forward.
All right. Since one follow-up question on this to Anuj is, since we're talking about security features, if you can just highlight what all aspects as far as the security features are concerned in Cardano's ADA, if you can just explain this for our viewers.
Yeah, so any blockchain is about a trilemma. One of them is decentralization, another is security. Security, the more decentralization you have, the more secure the protocol is. The good feature of Cardano, which is using a form of proof of stake, is that it encourages more and more decentralization. So if there are certain number of validators, it automatically divides them further and creates subsequent layers of validators. So looking at that way, because it is more decentralized, we can also say it is more secure. Even the mechanisms or the protocols that are used for hashing, that are used for transmission of messages are the latest ones, and in some cases better than the competitive protocols.
All right.
From security and decentralization, I think it looks quite bright, and as Vinu said, in competition right there with Ethereum. From the scalability perspective also, I think it is improving. So I'm as I said, I'm quite bullish about it.
Okay, so there's more security. Yeah. Okay, please go on.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Rupa. So just wanted to add, Cardano actually has Mithril security audit service of its own. So it basically covers, audits a lot of stuff around its code and make sure that its code is very well tested before it runs out to the world and then people play around with it. That's my point to what Anuj said.
Okay.
One last question.
Yes. So we have almost covered all the aspects of this upgrade. Just one more question. Talking about the developers, how will this upgrade benefit the developers? My question is to you, Vinu.
Okay, well, for developers, the learning curve is still there. The challenge is Haskell. So people have to move from imperative programming to Haskell, which is a functional programming. Now, earlier, as I said, it was more on-chain, off-chain. So people used to write on-chain code was very easy. It was more templates. So when I wrote Plutus contracts myself, I was part of the Plutus Pioneer program as well. Okay. So I've written code myself. So the real challenge lies in the offline coding part. So it is very tricky, very lengthy, because the functional program is very elaborate. And when you write on this, these are few concepts, and adding on top, the account system is extended UTXO. This is a new concept from somebody who's coming from a EVM Solidity background. So they have to basically unlearn a couple of things and then sit, with the system. It is a longer circle, but the moment they are inside, they will really see the technical advancement or the beauty there. Adoption is of course the key motivator for everybody, but I would probably say give it a shot, everybody. It's a
Fantastic.
Great network to look at.
Technical advancement, that's a word coming in from Vinu. Anuj sir, your closing remarks about the Cardano's Vasselheart fork, if you can just share this, sir.
No, as I said, I'm quite bullish. It is one of the most researched protocol that is developing in the blockchain space. And I think in the future, as more upgrades come, it gets more adaptability. And of course, it becomes easier for developers to develop the smart contracts.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that, it will rise significantly in the future.
When are your closing remarks on this?
Well, a great beginning for Cardano with Vassal upgrade. I look forward to many developers getting to look at this side, because now the pain of learning a lot of concepts significantly reduces. So I'm looking forward to seeing more projects coming up and then more adoption coming up, leading to even stronger network.
All right, that's all there is. Thank you so much, Vinu, for being part of this special interaction. You spoke really well about what is the way forward, how this will benefit security features. Anuj sir, you are fantastic as far as the outlook is concerned. You are very optimistic about this token. So that's all there is in today's special bulletin. We will meet again with an exciting upgrade on the blockchain universe. Till then, keep watching 3.0 TV. This is Manoj Dara signing off.
And this is Ruchi Sharma signing off. Keep watching 3.0 TV. Have a great day.
Thank you.
2021, Meta debuted its Horizon Worlds virtual reality social networking project, while it also opened up advertising for more crypto ads on Facebook. In April 2022, reports emerged that the company has been considering a digital currency designed for use in the metaverse, internally dubbed as Zuckbucks. But it remains to be seen if his newest shift towards metaverse would bear any fruits in the long run or not.
With celebrities like Salman Khan recently launching India's own social token Gari, mainstream media is taking stock of the new era of tokenized communities. But what is the entire buzz around social tokens? And what makes these tokens valuable? Let's find out. So what are social tokens? Social tokens are a type of cryptocurrency that a brand, community, or influencer can use to monetize themselves beyond the typical means. Many influencers, celebrities, and businesses these days use social media or other media streams to monetize their skills or services. Typically, in such scenarios, the medium or platform that they use, for instance, Facebook or Instagram, shares the revenue and exerts artistic control on their content. Social tokens are of two types: personal or creator tokens and community tokens. These tokens are decentralized and secured by blockchain. They are constructed on the same model as common cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Personal or creator tokens are created by individuals to exchange form of labor. These individuals are usually public personalities like entrepreneurs or artists. Community tokens are created as a means to gain access to a community. These are similar to membership cards but based on the blockchain. But how are they different from NFTs? NFTs are a part of the broad category of social tokens. The basic difference between social tokens and NFTs is the fungibility factor. NFT, as the name suggests, is non-fungible and each of its unit is unique. Social tokens, on the other hand, are fungible. Each unit of a social token has the same value as another, just like a currency or cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin or Ether. So each Bitcoin will be the same in value as the other, and so it is easily interchangeable. In case of NFTs, however, one painting, for example, will have the same value as another and is not easily tradable. This makes them unique. Put simply, social tokens provide the same benefits, privileges, rights to the piece of artwork or music to all investors invested in them. NFT owners, on the other hand, have unique rights to a particular piece of a creator's work. So how do social tokens work? A talented singer, comedian, or social media influencer can easily form a community of loyal followers. Here lies the opportunity for such content creators to launch their own social token where relevant content can be shared with their followers. Besides, celebrities can use social tokens as a gatekeeping mechanism by offering premium access to content only for their largest token holders. Let's understand with an example. If you have faith that a particular artist's work will garner more following in the coming years, you can buy the token issued by them early on. Each new token that the artist issues will typically be at a higher value than the previous one. The value of your token rises as the community grows and more tokens are issued. So what are the benefits of social tokens? Social tokens have better incentives than just conventional reward point schemes that airlines, hotels, and credit cards companies offer. Since social tokens are built over blockchain, it is impossible for fraudulent transactions when it comes to token ownership. This will help brands create an ecosystem for their businesses where only genuine fans or consumers are expected to participate in transactional experiences. Fans can redeem tokens by treating them as an investment, and creators can eventually take distributions to augment their income. With a lot of buzz around the next level of the internet, Web 3.0 is all about connecting creators and consumers directly. Social tokens will become a significant feature on this next wave. Social tokens will allow content creators to engage with their fans more closely than ever before. They will also give creators more control over the revenue from their work. Social tokens as digital assets are already starting to play a crucial role in the creator ecosystem with the widespread adoption among crypto artists and celebrities. We are currently witnessing an explosion of different kinds of experiments. As the technology undergoes continuous evolution, social tokens will be accepted by larger communities such as large publishers or online communities built around products or brands. But there are a few risks involved also. Token value depends on a creator's ongoing content production. Failing to deliver would be professional suicide. Anecdotal accounts show that influencers can suffer psychological harm from the stress of constantly providing content. Will creators burn out? Will fear of fan disapproval restrain artists from experimenting with new creative directions? Financially, the major risk is regulation. Several legal gray areas exist for something as novel as social tokens, ranging from concerns about false advertisements to broad liability issues. But these risks can be managed. After centuries of starving artists, rewarding creators directly for their work is a crucial step towards supporting creativity. There is much opportunity in this space as it continues to be shaped by creators and innovators. Hope you found this story interesting. This is Ruchi Sharma signing off.
नेशनल बास्केटबॉल लीग स्टार और नॉन फंजिबल टोकन एंथुसियास्ट स्टेफ करी ने करीवर्स के लिए एक ट्रेडमार्क फाइल किया है जो मेटावर्स और एनएफटीज को बेचने के लिए इंटरैक्टिव वर्चुअल एनवायरनमेंट्स बनाने के प्लान्स के संकेत देता है। फुल ट्रेडमार्क फाइलिंग में करी द्वारा एंटरटेनमेंट सर्विसेज नेमली पर्सनल और वर्चुअल और मेटावर्सल अपीयरेंसेस के राइट्स के साथ साथ वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड्स की नेचर में ऑनलाइन गेमिंग सर्विसेज शामिल हैं। फाइलिंग करी द्वारा दावा किया गया पहला नॉन क्रिप्टो रिलेटेड ट्रेडमार्क है। हालांकि 3 पॉइंट चैंपियन सितंबर 2021 से क्रिप्टो एक्सचेंज FTX के लिए एक एम्बेसडर रहा है।
We will keep you connected to the evolving world of NFTs.
For accurate and latest updates of cryptocurrency markets and global regulations.
Metaverse and Web3.
3.0 TV covers the latest crypto crimes.
Keeps you updated about the global crypto events and exhibitions.
Today, Reserve Bank of India has unveiled digital currency or e-rupee in the country by introducing central bank digital currency, a pilot project which was in the concept format a month ago. To begin the pilot, we'll see participation from the wholesale businesses, which is nothing but settlement of secondary market in transactions in government securities undertaken by banks. Well, the idea is to reduce transaction cost, besides allaying issues such as frauds, counterfeit, and above all, adopting digital currency, which is the need of the hour. It may be noted that the RBI has earlier announced the launch of the pilot plan following the government decision of introducing digital currency to tackle competition from stable coins and cryptocurrencies. So let's go back to understand what CBDC is and how it will facilitate or benefit the business. So let's listen in to what Dr. Aruna Sharma has to say about CBDC.
The idea behind CBDC is basically at this moment of time, number of questions are to be answered because the claim of financial inclusion or disbursement can be achieved through DBT. The questions are whether it will be restricted at the initial stages only to wholesale or it will go to retail, whether it will be directly through the RBI or it will come through the banks in an indirect way. It also talks about some hybrid model.
All right, as Aruna ma'am mentioned, this will surely help RBI and government in addressing key issues related to the digital currency. Interestingly, today's launch will see a total of 9 banks participating in the pilot project. They include State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Union Bank of India, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Yes Bank, IDFC First Bank and HSBC for the participation in the pilot project. Fair enough. What RBI is trying to achieve with this pilot launch is address key issues. It will most importantly look to fend off possible threats posed by cryptocurrencies and at the same time provide the customers an opportunity of decentralized payment process that are carried out through blockchain technology. So let's listen into what Sudhin Bararkar has to say about CBDCs.
Blockchain-based CBDC does have its inherent advantage of, it's like a secure database, right, spread over a whole lot of nodes, right? So the security aspect is already baked into a blockchain because you can only do a create, read, update, right? You can't do a create, read, update, and delete, right? So the sanctity, the immutability of the blockchain, of the blockchain transactions is always maintained.
All right, as explained by Mr. Sudhin, CBDC will definitely help address issues such as counterfeit, proofing, scalability, etc. Apart from ensuring decentralized mechanism and bringing stability, which is an essential element in the modern virtual or the digital world. So let's listen in from Sudhin Bararkar. What are his concluding remarks?
Innovation and transformation must happen. The banks I've worked in, Barclays has been more than 345 years old, right? It's even older than the Bank of England. SBI is more than 2 centuries old. And these great institutions are there because of the constant transformation and innovation. And I think if that transformation and innovation can also, even the central banks can take it up, even RBI can take it up, will definitely benefit society, will definitely benefit all citizens, and will definitely pave the way for the future of money.
All right, CBDC's pilot will usher in India's digital economy. As we all know that there are various central banks and countries who have increased their efforts towards adoption of the digital currencies. Given India's IT progress, the CBDC would make an attempt to make the monetary and the payment system more efficient and financial environment friendly. That's all there is in today's special segment. This is Manoj Dara signing off, but keep watching 3.0 TV for more such interesting updates. Thank you.
We will keep you connected to the evolving world of NFT.
For accurate and latest updates of cryptocurrency markets and global regulations.
Metaverse and Web3
3.0 TV covers the latest crypto crimes.
keeps you updated about the global crypto events and exhibitions.
हेलो एंड वेलकम टू 3.0 टीवी। मैं संदीप कसालकर। दोस्तों, दुनिया भर की सरकारें क्रिप्टो करेंसी के पीछे पड़ी है, जिसकी वजह यह है कि क्रिप्टो के आने से उनकी पकड़ कहीं ना कहीं कम होती हुई नजर आ रही है। इस तरह से सरकार ने अपने आंखों में खटकने वाली क्रिप्टो पर नकेल कसने के लिए कई तरह के हथकंडे अपनाने शुरू कर दिए हैं, जिसमें सबसे बड़ा क्रिप्टो को मिंट करने के तरीके को टारगेट करना है। ऐसे में पहले बिटकॉइन और ETH क्रिप्टो को मिंट करने के लिए POW का इस्तेमाल किया करते थे, लेकिन अब ETH ने जहां POS का दामन थामा है, वही BTC ने अभी भी POW पर काम करना जारी रखा है, जिसे लेकर आए दिन हर तरफ से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के इस्तेमाल से लेकर इन्वॉल्वमेंट तक से जुड़े मुद्दे उठाए जा रहे हैं। लेकिन सच क्या है, चलिए इस पर एक नजर डालते हैं। ऐसे में इसके बारे में और ज्यादा जानकारी आपको देने से पहले लाइक एंड शेयर करें हमारा वीडियो, सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल और लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स हमेशा पाने के लिए बेल आइकन को दबाना न भूलें। तो सबसे पहले देखते हैं व्हाइट हाउस ने इन्वायरमेंटल इंपैक्ट को कम करने के लिए क्रिप्टो माइनिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स की किस तरह की मांग की है। व्हाइट हाउस ऑफिस ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी पॉलिसी ने हाल ही में पब्लिश एक नई रिपोर्ट में इंडस्ट्री के लिए स्टैंडर्ड्स को निर्धारित करने के लिए यूएस को क्रिप्टो माइनिंग के एनर्जी इंपैक्ट पर और रिसर्च कंडक्ट करने की बात कही है। रिपोर्ट में क्रिप्टो करेंसीज पर यूएस प्रेसिडेंट जो बाइडेन के कार्यकारी आदेश के लिए सार्वजनिक रूप से उपलब्ध पहली प्रतिक्रियाओं में से ऑफिस द्वारा इस सवाल पर अपना नजरिया साफ किया है कि क्रिप्टो माइनिंग का एनवायरनमेंट पर किस तरह का इंपैक्ट पड़ता है, जिसमें प्रभाव का पैमाना क्या है और कैसे अलग अलग क्रिप्टो करेंसी उनकी ऊर्जा जरूरतों में अलग है। रिपोर्ट में एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन एजेंसी और डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एनर्जी के साथ फेडरल एजेंसी को स्टेट्स और लोकल ऑफिशियल्स के साथ मिलकर एनवायरमेंट पर इंडस्ट्री द्वारा होने वाले इंपैक्ट के स्टैंडर्ड्स को डेवलप करने का आदेश दिया गया है। एनर्जी की इंटेंसिटी और सोर्स जो इसमें लगती है, उसमें नॉइज पॉल्यूशन, वाटर यूसेज और साथ ही क्रिप्टो माइनिंग की कंजम्पशन को बैलेंस करने के लिए कार्बन फ्री एनर्जी को कैसे बिल्ड करें, ये शामिल है। इसके अलावा रिपोर्ट में कहा गया है कि क्रिप्टो माइनिंग खास करके बिटकॉइन यानी BTC माइनिंग बहुत ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का इस्तेमाल करता है, जो यूएस सस्टेनेबिलिटी गोल्स को कमजोर कर रहा है। तो किस तरह का है बैंक्स का कड़ा रुख। हाल ही में टॉप यूएस बैंक्स के हेड्स ने कहा है कि उनके पास क्रिप्टो करेंसी माइनर्स को फाइनेंस करने की कोई प्लानिंग नहीं है। दरअसल क्रिप्टो माइनिंग क्रिटिक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ब्रैड शर्मन ने 3 मेजर बैंक्स के हेड सिटी ग्रुप के CEO जेन फ्रेजर, बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका के ब्रायन मोइनहान और वेल्स फार्गो के CEO चार्ल्स स्काफ से उनके इरादे के बारे में हाउस फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज कमेटी की कांग्रेस की सुनवाई के दौरान क्रिप्टो माइनिंग को फाइनेंस करने पर सवाल किया, जिस पर सभी ने अपने हाथ पीछे खींच लिए, जिसके पीछे की वजह कम होती बिटकॉइन की कीमत और बढ़ती एनर्जी कॉस्ट मानी जा सकती है। इसके अलावा अप्रैल के महीने में रिप्रेजेंटेटिव जेड हफमन, जो यूएस हाउस ऑफ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स कमेटी के अंदर एक सब कमेटी को लीड करते हैं, उन्होंने ऑलमोस्ट 2 डजन डेमोक्रेटिक कलीग्स को रिक्रूट किया ताकि फेडरल एनवायरमेंटल ऑफिशियल से क्रिप्टो करेंसी माइनिंग के कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस और जांच करने के अर्ज किया जा सके। किस तरह से माइनर्स को हो रही है कैपिटल जुटाने में दिक्कत। इस साल माइनर्स के लिए कैपिटल जुटाना मुश्किल हो गया है, क्योंकि बिटकॉइन यानी BTC की कीमत बेहद नीचे गिर गई है और एनर्जी प्राइसेस आसमान छू रही है। ऐसे में माइनर्स को क्रिएटिव होना पड़ रहा है, जबकि अलग अलग कंपनियां माइनर्स की खाली जगह को भरने के लिए कई तरह की कोशिशें कर रही है। एग्जाम्पल के लिए बात करें तो डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड फाइनेंस यानी DeFi फर्म मैपल फाइनेंस नॉर्थ अमेरिका और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मिड साइज बिटकॉइन माइनर्स के लिए $300 मिलियन का लेंडिंग पूल शुरू कर रही है। इतना ही नहीं, इंडस्ट्री पार्टिसिपेंट्स को भी कुछ मर्जर्स और एक्विजिशंस की उम्मीद है, क्योंकि माइनर्स क्रिप्टो की कम कीमतों की वजह से जूझ रहे हैं। बिटकॉइन एनर्जी कंजम्पशन वर्सेस एवरेज यूएस हाउसहोल्ड एनर्जी कंजम्पशन। तो डिजी इकोनॉमिक्स के बिटकॉइन एनर्जी कंजम्पशन इंडेक्स का अनुमान है कि एक बिटकॉइन ट्रांजैक्शन को पूरा होने में 1449 किलोवाट लगता है, यानी एवरेज यूएस हाउस होल्ड के लिए अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 50 डेज के पावर के बराबर है। बिटकॉइन एनर्जी कंजम्पशन इंडेक्स के अनुसार बिटकॉइन माइनिंग में अर्जेंटीना जितनी एनर्जी का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है और इस तरह से 131.26 टेरावाट आवर्स के एनुअलाइज लेवल पर क्रिप्टो माइनिंग एनर्जी कंजम्पशन के मामले में टॉप 30 देशों में होने की उम्मीद है। हालांकि बिटकॉइन माइनिंग के लिए एनर्जी कंजम्पशन 2021 के अंत और 2022 के शुरुआती महीनों में अपने हाईएस्ट लेवल पर थी, जिसमें 200 टेरावाट आवर्स से ज्यादा की कंजम्पशन होते हुए देखने मिली थी। आइए देखते हैं ग्लोबल माइनिंग एनर्जी कंजम्पशन के बारे में कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन। तो ग्लोबल माइनिंग एनर्जी कंजम्पशन की जब बात आती है तब 0.4 और 0.9% के बीच एनर्जी इस्तेमाल की जाती है। बता दूं कि यह आंकड़ा अर्जेंटीना और ऑस्ट्रेलिया जैसे देशों द्वारा इस्तेमाल की जाने वाली एनर्जी की मात्रा के बराबर है, जिसे जानने के बाद आप समझ गए होंगे कि क्रिप्टो माइनिंग में बहुत ज्यादा एनर्जी का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। तो क्या है बिटकॉइन माइनिंग से जुड़ी एनर्जी कंजम्पशन की हकीकत। कैम्ब्रिज सेंटर फॉर अल्टरनेटिव फाइनेंस यानी CCAF की एक नई रिपोर्ट में पाया गया है कि बिटकॉइन माइनिंग ग्लोबल ग्रीन हाउस गैस इमिशन का लगभग 0.10% है, रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक यह आंकड़ा सालाना 48.35 मिलियन टन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड तक बढ़कर हो जाता है। रिसेंटली पब्लिश एक डेटा के अनुसार इंस्टीट्यूट ने यह भी अनुमान लगाया कि इंडस्ट्री द्वारा इस्तेमाल की जाने वाली एनर्जी का 37.6% सस्टेनेबल सोर्सेस से आता है। CCF ने अपने सबसे हालिया डेटा से लिया है और इसे पब्लिक इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ जोड़ते हुए जानकारी हासिल की है कि अलग अलग रीजन्स में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कैसे जनरेट की जा रही है। सस्टेनेबल एनर्जी के इस्तेमाल के परसेंटेज पर CCAF का अनुमान 59.5% के कॉन्ट्रास्ट है, जिसे बिटकॉइन माइनिंग काउंसिल ने माइनिंग कंपनीज के सर्वे के बाद 2022 की सेकंड क्वार्टर के रेफरेंस में पेश किया था। रिपोर्ट ने उन लोगों के बीच डिस्क्रिपेंसी को संबोधित किया जो मानते हैं कि बिटकॉइन इन्वायरमेंटल प्रोग्रेस को अंडू कर देगा, जो इसके उलट सोचते हैं कि यह क्लाइमेट चेंज से निपटने में मदद कर सकता है। किस तरह से एमिशन में आई है कमी, आइए देखते हैं। CCAF के फाइंडिंग्स के अनुसार बिटकॉइन माइनिंग 21 सितंबर तक से ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशन के करंट एनुअल एस्टिमेट 2021 की तुलना में 14.1% कम है। रिपोर्ट्स में साफ लफ्जों में कहा गया है कि माइनिंग प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी में सिग्निफिकेंट कमी के कारण हैश रेट में सब्सटेंशियल इंक्रीज हुई है, जिसके बावजूद इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंजप्शन में गिरावट आई है। एक तरह से माइनिंग हार्डवेयर की एफिशिएंसी में संभावित बढ़त की ओर इशारा करता है, क्योंकि रेवेन्यू में गिरावट माइनर्स को पुराने और लेस एफिशिएंट हार्डवेयर को रिटायर करने के लिए एनकरेज करती है। तो दोस्तों, किसी ने सही कहा कि हर सिक्के के देखने के दो पहलू होते हैं। ठीक उसी तरह से बिटकॉइन द्वारा POW के इस्तेमाल को लेकर सभी की अपनी सोच और अपना नजरिया है। जहां कुछ देशों का कहना है कि बिटकॉइन को POW की जगह दूसरे विकल्प की तलाश करनी चाहिए, जबकि कुछ ने प्रतिबंध लगाने की तरफ अपना इशारा किया है। लेकिन सिक्के के दूसरे यानी पॉजिटिव साइड की तरफ देखा जाए तो ये बात भी सच है कि ग्रीन हाउस गैस इमिशन में पहले की तुलना में बड़ी कमी आई है, जो अपने आप में बड़ी बात है। हालांकि इस बात से हम इनकार नहीं करते कि POW के बाद POS आने वाला भविष्य है। तो हाल फिलहाल के लिए बस इतना ही। अगली बार फिर मिलते हैं Web3 से जुड़े नए अपडेट्स को लेकर। तब तक के लिए मैं संदीप कसालकर फिलहाल आपसे विदा लेता हूं। डू वॉच 3.0 TV।
One of the world's biggest payment processors, Visa, has announced the launch of a new NFT collection, Christine Visa Masters of Movement. The company described the NFT collection as a first-of-its-kind hybrid experience. The collection will feature a pre-event NFT auction and immersive activation for football and NFT fans. The collection will make its official debut during the FIFA Fan Festival, scheduled for later this month. Hello and a very warm welcome to 3.0 TV. I am Vishakha Thakur. It's been just over a year since social media giant Facebook rebranded as Meta at the Facebook Connect conference on October 28, 2021. The name change reflected the company's growing ambitions to transcend past social media and into the world of Web3, crypto, NFTs, and the metaverse virtual worlds, where consumers are likely to spend more of their time for both work and play. The company has been busy. Now, before we move ahead about what has transpired in 1 year since Facebook became Meta, please like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get instant updates. In December 2021, Meta debuted its Horizon Worlds virtual reality social networking project, while it also opened up advertising for more crypto ads on Facebook. In April 2022, reports emerged that the company has been considering a digital currency designed for use in the metaverse, internally dubbed as Zuckbucks, though no further updates on the project have been seen since. In May, the company filed 5 trademark applications for a payments processing platform with support for cryptocurrencies and digital assets called MetaPay. In September 2022, the company announced that $2.9 billion users would have the ability to post digital collectibles and NFTs they own across Facebook and Instagram across 100 countries by linking their wallets. Meanwhile, on October 11, Meta announced a partnership with tech giant Microsoft to bring a range of Microsoft Office 365 products into Meta's virtual reality platform to try and coax other companies to work in virtual environments. However, the year has not come without its challenges, particularly when it comes to the company's metaverse ambitions. Last week, Altimeter Capital CEO and founder called Meta's $10 billion to $15 billion a year investment into the metaverse as supersized and terrifying. Meta's Q3 report appeared to only solidify these concerns, with the stock price falling 23.6% following its release, while Meta's virtual reality research and development arm Reality Labs posted an accumulated loss of $9.44 billion so far this year. Many may also remember Meta's Eiffel Tower fiasco, when an image of Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's avatar standing in front of a virtual Eiffel Tower was mocked over lackluster visuals. Meanwhile, an October 15 report from the Wall Street Journal suggested that the company has slashed its monthly active user goal for Horizon Worlds by more than half, suggesting the company's flagship metaverse was falling short. Now, this backlash was touched on by Zuckerberg during the Q3 earnings call on October 26, noting that we are iterating out in the open and that social metaverse platform was still an early version. It's kind of a live early product platform and that's evolving quickly, but obviously has a long way to go before it's going to be what we aspire for it to be, said the CEO. Nevertheless, the technology giant is continuing to push forward with its foray into Web3 and other projects, including artificial intelligence, with Zuckerberg noting on the call that we are on the right track with these investments and the company should keep investing heavily in these areas. The company recently unveiled its latest virtual reality headset, the Meta Quest Pro, during an October 11 virtual event, along with the partnership with Microsoft and a new computer platform, Reality Labs. Work in the metaverse is a big theme for Quest Pro. Now, there are 200 million people who get new PCs every year, mostly for work. Our goal for the Quest Pro line over the next several years is to enable more and more of these people to get their work done in virtual and mixed reality, eventually when better than they could on PCs, said Zuckerberg. Now, between the AI discovery engine, our ads and business messaging platforms, and our future vision for the metaverse, those are three of the areas that we are very focused on, he added. The Quest Pro's face tracking capabilities can help make avatars' facial expressions look more realistic. Initially, users can access this tracking in Horizon Worlds and Horizon Workrooms, Meta said, as well as in several developers' apps such as Painting VR and DJ App Tribe XR. But even with facial tracking, what users see when they pop in the Horizon Worlds, blocky, human-like avatars that exist only from the torso up, floating around a virtual plaza, will now continue to contrast sharply with the image Zuckerberg portrayed during Meta's Connect event on October 11 of his own full-body avatar. In the meantime, investors appear to be getting fed up with the investments in the metaverse at a time when the future of its core business is also deeply uncertain. In the past, Zuckerberg successfully pivoted Facebook's operations once before from desktop to mobile devices shortly after taking the company public, a move that helped supercharge its advertising business and ensure its dominance for much of the next decade. But it remains to be seen if his novice shift towards metaverse would bear any fruits in the long run or not. Well, that's it in today's episode. We will meet again with exciting stories about the metaverse. Till then, keep watching 3.0 TV. Like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get instant updates. This is me, Vishakha Thakur, signing off.
We will keep you connected to the evolving world of NFT.
For accurate and latest updates of cryptocurrency markets and global regulations.
Metaverse and Web3.
3.0 TV covers the latest crypto crimes.
Keeps you updated about the global crypto events and exhibitions.
Indian Taxation Authority has proposed new changes to filing of the income tax returns that can have a significant impact on those who own virtual digital assets or cryptocurrencies, as well as those who invest in DAOs, which is Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. CBDT has proposed a new common tax return that largely consolidates existing income tax returns in order to make the process more efficient. However, the proposal also seeks information from Indians living abroad about any business connections they may have in India, as well as whether that entity has a significant economic presence in India, particularly businesses from which they derive income. So to explain this entire episode, we have invited Mr. Indy Sarkar from TaxCrypt. He is the co-founder of TaxCrypt. Sir, welcome on 3.0 TV.
Thank you so much, Manoj.
So if you can just explain this for our viewers, sir. What is the implication of this recent announcement as the Indian accounting taxation or taxing crypto income from businesses which are headquartered elsewhere? What is the impact as far as India is concerned, sir?
So there are actually two components to this, Manoj. The first one is leading on from the February announcement where there was explicit recognition of crypto earnings for taxation. The income tax form, the ITR form, as most people would know it as, had no specific explicit section to capture crypto earnings. And therefore, the only way one could use that form was to put all crypto earnings in the other income section and therefore apply tax rules.
All right.
What this is really to make it more explicit. This change to the form was certainly expected. Therefore, no surprises on that front to recognize crypto as separate line items in your ITR forms. The second question which you ask is around, foreigners having Indian business practices is more around somewhat not entirely related to crypto, but I believe it's to do with the whole POEM rules which apply, permanent establishment, what is considered as place of what I call decision making. And therefore, they wish to see whether if India is the place of decision-making for income generated in the US, then the India Tax Authority wishes to have transparency around that. And the POEM rules apply, on both sides, US, India, or any other country. All tax regimes wish to, look at that from their perspective.
So, sir, are you mentioning about the trade which is actually originating from, say, for example, in India or outside India? That's what you're referring to?
That's if you are generating crypto income. I mean, there are two separate aspects almost. If you're generating crypto income as a foreign, let's say as a non-resident Indian, and your crypto earnings are being generated in India through a account holding in India, then you are liable for taxes for local income generated like any other income that you would have to generate.
Perfect. In short, sir, what is the crux or the takeaway from this announcement for a common man who is actually reading this announcement for the first time?
The crux is, देखिए, जिनके पास crypto income generate हो रहा है, you are now being brought into a proper institutional framework for paying your taxes and accounting for your crypto activity.
All right. So if you talk about digital assets and the way forward, since we are talking about cryptocurrencies on a broad base and its tax implication, this show is to simplify, what is the meaning of tax for our viewers. So there are a lot of individuals who hold digital assets maybe in several forms, centralized exchange and decentralized exchange as well. So what is the prime difference between centralized exchange and the decentralized exchange? Sir, if you can just highlight as far as the taxation is concerned.
From a taxation perspective, the tax authority makes no distinction between your wallet holdings in a DeFi, as it's known as decentralized wallets, or your centralized wallets. The primary difference between a DeFi and a CeFi account is that DeFi is, in the real sense of the word, decentralized. It's sitting on the network, and you have direct access to your holdings. In a CeFi environment, you are part of an institution. You are holding an account with another institution, which on your behalf is providing you a wallet and holding your assets within those wallets. One is regulated and comes under the kind of KYC norms and rules and regulations that apply in India, which is the CeFi wallets. And the DeFi today is very difficult. There's no explicit recognition of how to regulate it because there are no KYC norms that apply to DeFi wallets. But as a tax, if you're a law-abiding citizen that wishes to pay taxes, as per the rules, then you have to disclose your DeFi activity as well.
So since we are talking about, you mentioned about the DeFi wallet and the trading activity. So does DeFi trading exempt an individual or trader or an investor from paying taxes?
Not at all. In fact, the government is very clear on this. Any crypto income generated, whether be it from CeFi or DeFi wallets, are all liable for taxes.
So one more question on this DeFi, since you have mentioned about, can you just explain this? Can an investor or a trader, or for that matter, a long-term investor, short-term investor, can get away by not disclosing his DeFi activities and avoid taxes?
If you think about it in the strictest sense of the word, because there are no KYC norms and DeFi wallet addresses are anonymous addresses, people might take the call that I will not disclose my DeFi holdings. But the minute you're withdrawing crypto holdings or converting crypto holdings to fiat currency from a DeFi wallet, you have to bring it into the mainstream banking system. And therefore, you will leave behind a trail which would lead to questions being asked. And therefore, it is prudent to be able to look at your tax obligations across both your DeFi and CeFi activities.
Fantastic. Sir, since you mentioned about these two exchanges and the way forward, for example, if I want to do tax planning for myself, I have well-defined tax structure in India. So say, for example, my portion of money earned will go as far as the provident fund is concerned, or for that matter, mutual funds में इतना segment जाना चाहिए, insurance में इतना है, you have mediclaim insurance, and you cover that 1,52,000, say maybe 2 lakh area. So how can I do, or an individual can do better tax planning for the Web3 universe, sir?
The tax regime as it exists right now is a flat 30% on all gains, short-term or long-term. So there are no exemptions. What you were just describing in our normal mainstream income, we are allowed certain exemptions to encourage buying insurance products or buying long-term savings products. In the crypto universe, for taxation, there are no exemptions. However, there is an element of tax planning that every crypto investor needs to undertake in the new regime, considering that when you have gains, you should put away your tax obligation out of your gains into a separate kind of holding pattern, because in the event you suffer losses, your tax obligation on your gains remain, and therefore you could face liquidity issues when it comes to meeting your tax obligations.
Fantastic, sir. One follow-up question on the DeFi segment and the wallet. So if one trade on DeFi wallet, so will that individual have to deduct TDS, or how is this process, sir? Because this is something we have seen. यहाँ पर if you are on a contract basis, यहाँ पर you get 11% deduction as far as the TDS is concerned. But how is this process as far as the Web3 universe is concerned, sir?
Your question is a very valid question. Most of the TDS obligation for compliance in the centralized exchange world, because there is a financial intermediary in the form of the centralized exchange, has fallen on them. So all the various exchanges that you've seen have had to get compliance around making sure that they file TDS against all account holders. In the DeFi world, there is still there's lack of clarity on whether TDS applies. But in the strictest sense of the word, since there is no exemption to DeFi trading and TDS, that the person trading and holding DeFi positions ought to be deducting TDS.
All right, sir, one last question before we let you go and we end this conversation, sir. How is regulations on the Web3 space shaping up across the world? Because there are a lot of articles that suggest that investors are cheering this move. There are a lot of countries who have come up with regulations. As we speak, there are broader measures being taken in some of the other countries as far as regulations is concerned. So what is your final takeaway as far as the global regulatory landscape?
Regulation globally is coming across crypto assets. There is no surprises. In fact, we've had two landmark events, certainly in the last few weeks. The European Union passed their approval on the MiCA, which is the market in crypto assets regulation, on the 5th of October. The rules and regulations from an EU zone perspective is very clear. They're going to give people 12 to 18 months as a grace period to put in place all the compliance requirements. In fact, as latest as Tuesday of this week, the UK Parliament has voted on a crypto bill, which is currently under discussion in UK Parliament. So regulation is here to say. The SEC in the US is moving forward very aggressively. There's still very in-depth consultations going on. So regulation is here to stay. There are three important components to the regulatory landscape. One is the crypto asset issuers. The second is the crypto asset service providers. And third is the investor.
Fantastic.
So these are the three, what I call components or constituencies which the regulation is looking to address. And a whole host of issues: systemic risk management, investor protection, as well as fraud prevention and detection. So regulation is looking to address all of these aspects. And therefore, we should cheer regulation. Regulation is a good thing because it's explicit recognition of the industry. And I think overall good for the long-term health of the crypto industry.
Regulations is good for the long-term health. That's the word coming in from Indy Sarkar. Thank you so much, sir, for educating our viewers as far as the global taxation is concerned, how an individual is supposed to plan his taxes as far as the Web3 universe is concerned. Thank you so much, sir, for being part of this second episode on the Tax Buzz. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Manoj. Thanks for having me.
We will keep you connected to the evolving world of NFT.
For accurate and latest updates of cryptocurrency markets and global regulations.
Metaverse and Web3.
3.0 TV covers the latest crypto crimes.
Keeps you updated about the global crypto events and exhibitions.
Cardano, a proof-of-stake blockchain platform, successfully completed the first phase of its delayed upgrade, the Vasil hard fork.
We have invited special guests to discuss Cardano's Vasil hard fork in detail. Let me introduce you to Anuj Garg.
This is one of the major upgrade to the Cardano chain where the objective is to bring sweeping changes to the network. Vasil was one of the key influencer for Cardano, so this is named after him.
And we have another special guest with us, Venu Bora.
Vasil upgrade actually brings in couple of features, as I said, and it'll be more on chain rather than off chain and on chain combination, which is tough to handle for scenarios or use cases, both DeFi or non-DeFi, gamify, and all other use cases.
Hello and welcome to 3.0 TV. I am Vishakha Thakur. Metaverse was the buzzword of 2021. Various companies like Meta, rebranded themselves to onboard the metaverse trend. Recently, Mark Zuckerberg's net worth has dropped $71 billion this year. And according to our data, metaverse platforms are struggling to retain users despite having multi-billion dollars worth of market caps. So to have a better understanding of the current scenario of the metaverse market cap and to know what it is going to be 5 years down the line, we have invited Mr. Kunal Nandwani, who is a YPO member and a tech entrepreneur. He's a co-founder and CEO at Utrade Solutions and Hashcove. And previously, he has also worked in investment banking with Lehman Brothers and Nomura. Welcome to 3.0 TV, sir.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir. So, sir, metaverse is opening up transformative opportunities. Now, if we talk about the penetration level, what do you think is the penetration level of metaverse globally in terms of usage?
So, metaverse so far is in very nascent stages. If I may define metaverse very quickly, it's essentially the combination of the word meta and universe. This was coined in 1992 by a person called Neil Stephenson in one of his dystopian novels. So it's essentially a 3D virtual space where people are expected to start living in the next decade or so, or maybe a bit longer. How you have to imagine this is that whatever you're doing in the real physical world as we know it today, imagine you're doing everything in a virtual world. Imagine you're living in a virtual reality environment, artificially with some artificial augmentation, artificial reality, and you're not living in the physical world anymore, but all the characters you see in the cartoon movies or in the video games, you become one of them. You can upload your mind, your consciousness to internet, and you can become a character in it. That's what a metaverse would look like in the next few years to decades or so. Today, the penetration is very, very low. It's very, very early. Facebook has rebranded to Meta. Many other social media and gaming companies would follow similar trends. But it takes time to create the technology which will make the virtual world so engaging, so entertaining, so addictive that the real world would not be good enough. The real world we live in has physical boundaries and limitations. You know, if you see a road that is broken in Mumbai, it'll take them days, weeks, months, years to build them, right? But imagine you're living in a virtual reality world and the software update could be done with a few changes of zeros and ones and a few changes of source code. The world would be way more interesting, way more engaging. And the first instance that we've seen how humans may act, react, live, spend time online is already here thanks to internet, thanks to social media, thanks to gaming, etc. So because of all these trends that we've seen, people are spending hours and hours every day in interacting with people online, virtually, in different shapes and form. Imagine your whole life moves there. That's what metaverse is meant to be. Traction so far is very, very low. It's very, very early days. The graphics are not great. It's just like internet in 1995. Some people may remember, we used to have dial-up modems. We did not have the fast internet. We could only download a few images online. We could not do much more. But today, thanks to the improved speeds of internet, 4G, fiber-based internet and satellite-based GPS, etc., we are able to do so many more things, watching live TV, doing this interview live online. Imagine in the future, there would be a virtual studio where you and I could be just characters living there with no physical bodies necessarily, but some representation of our bodies, some avatars as they are showing these days. It would be as real an experience as this is. So that's what metaverse would be, but the adoption and penetration so far is very low. It's very early days, but we are still living on the cusp of the physical boundary interfacing with the digital online world. The physical boundary eventually disappears. We all start living on the cloud, living in the internet, living in the virtual world. That's where it's headed. That's what the potential of metaverse is.
So you explained it very well, and metaverse is the next generation of the web basically. So big companies like Meta and Apple are in the race to conquer metaverse, and these companies are really betting big on metaverse. So how many companies do you think are setting up technologies for metaverse, and which one of them has proved to be the best company or platform so far on a global level?
So there is no winner so far. There are people who've done work in Web3 space in creating things like NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and some images, some avatars like that. There are people who have tried to create virtual lands like Decentraland, etc.
Sandbox.
So there are certain things like that which are happening. Facebook is still in early days. They've not released anything. The early videos that are coming out of Facebook's Meta platform are fairly basic. It's almost still like I said, 1995 internet. You know, what internet we know today in 2022 is very different from what it was in 1995 when you had to wait for minutes to download a few kilobytes, right? The interface were not good. It's that level of the beginning right now. And if you remember, if we compare this with internet, in 1995, the companies that were doing well, there was a company called American Online, AOL. It doesn't exist anymore. So the early adopters, early companies that are going to invest into this will help certainly build this metaverse platforms, infrastructure, etc. But they may not be necessarily the winners. The eventual winners would be the ones who are able to execute in a few years' time, benefit from the inbuilt infrastructure that comes in with other platforms, and who can get most users somehow and give the most engaging experience. So in my view, Google, Meta may play a role, but it could easily be that they have no role to play eventually in 5 to 10 years' time. Somebody else does it much better than them. And before that happens, I think a bigger thing has to happen, the convergence of faster internet. So not just 5G, which is coming out now or anytime soon, but also the 6, 7G, more satellite-based, GPS-based technologies to evolve, more cloud infrastructure to get better, secure, faster, etc. So the other converging speeds of computing, quantum computing, AI, faster internets have to play a big role into this. But and in today's world, it's hard to say who's the winner. There is no winner. It's just we're just forming the game. We're just forming the race. Time will tell in the next 5 to 10 years who could be the big platforms here.
True. So I agree that 5G is going to play a big role in it. And as you spoke about Meta, so what do you think the criticism Meta is facing these days, the Metaverse project of Meta, Horizon Worlds, what are your views on that?
So I did not personally follow the Meta's criticism, the Facebook company, but generally speaking, there are challenges that the Metaverse would introduce in general, overall the virtual reality world. I think what happens is that once we start living in that virtual world, we engage in social interactions, we work, we play, we get entertained in that world. I think the real life would start looking really dull. It would be less engaging. The graphics and physical boundaries would not be interesting. The metaverse would be highly addictive, and it will have much far-reaching consequences. Think about what social media has done in the last 2 decades. It has led to a major mental health breakdowns of people, right? So mental health has become a big issue, and primarily it's driven by social media. Now imagine if you're living in these virtual worlds which are so high on dopamine release in the brains, and where we could be easily manipulated or we become hackable humans. I think what will happen is that we'll go down some rabbit hole of some sense. The consequences would include that the evolution in the parallel digital world would make us slaves to these devices, which would be the 3D classes and other things that these companies are coming up with.
Yes.
And we will constantly become pretentious, unnecessarily comparison encouraging people, and it can lead to even bigger sense of losing our own identities. And to survive and fish in such a world, you will need a lot of mental flexibility, reserves of emotional balance, something that we are inherently lacking. So there are lots of challenges here, and the inability of the governments around to regulate the social media and other things has proven that even in metaverse, it will not be an easy transition from the current physical world. So lots of challenges, but specifically to Meta's Horizon One, I'm not fully aware what's gone there, but I think it would be a real challenge for humans to leave their own spiritual beings and leave their own inner divine connect, so to say, and just go online and be hackable by anyone and everyone. So it'll be very risky, but we'll see how that plays out.
And recently, in Meta's Connect conference, they have released their new VR headsets, Quest Pro, which costs around $1,500. So, which is really a high cost for normal people. So, moving ahead, how many Indian companies do you think have bought land in the metaverse? And if we have to buy a plot on any metaverse platform, be it Decentraland, Sandbox, so what would be the capacity of a single block in metaverse?
So I'm not aware that there is any such data that exists. And given the India's existing regulatory framework with where there are things like FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act, RBI's limitations of allowing any Indian citizen to buy or invest certain assets in a foreign country or in a virtual world. I think given the limitations, this data somehow does not exist as far as I'm aware. And it would be most likely the early adopters of cryptos, gamers, and the NFT guys who would be buying and investing some parts of their tokens into it in a most likely scenario. I do not think anybody would be using an Indian RTGS or UPI based payment to make such investment. So people are likely to be using more cryptos than not if they are doing this. There's no fixed data yet. There's no aggregate data available. Forget Indians, there's no global data as such available. But it's still, again, very, very early days, very, very smaller numbers. Only people who are willing to bet this or take early bets and take the risk of investing into such platforms might have invested and bought some lands and other digital assets, which may or may not exist in a few years' time, by the way, because it's too early. But if they do exist, if they do sustain and become the main platforms, then these assets could be worth a lot. But right now, unfortunately, I don't have any such data, and I don't think any such data exists. And I don't think the Indians are able to make these payments easily through the normal banking channels. They may be doing it through cryptos and all. But in terms of companies, as you're asking, a lot of companies, India is known for its information technology. IT services companies exist here, which are the largest in the world, like TCS and many others. All of them have a practice for new age technologies, whether it's Web3, cryptos, blockchain, NFTs, and now metaverse as well. So they are certainly helping some of their clients or some of the big American corporates into exploring or doing something they call proof of concepts for creating the virtual reality worlds, creating them and then helping them engage with their customers into coming onto such platforms. So many technology companies are certainly taking a plunge into this, given it's paid by their clients. But in terms of investments, I'm not sure how many people are buying such digital virtual assets as of now.
So, since you spoke about the investments, what is the current cost of development, and what do you think? Will it go down once it becomes widely accepted?
Sure. Definitely, that's a non-bit technology. The cost dropped 10 to 100 times within a 5 to 10 years period. If you think about developing a website in 1995, it would cost you close to $1 million. I do know someone who paid that much money in 1995, but today it's just a $2 GoDaddy hosting, WordPress, off you go. It's not more than a $10 thing. You could have a website up and running within a few minutes. So I think in a similar way, of course, meta related developments would also become cheaper over time. But I think the core platforms have to be formed first. Like in computing, you have Microsoft, which is the operating system on which everything works, or Apple's Mac. On internet, you have Google or Facebook or Insta, on which most of the people do various things. So we don't know yet in metaverse which are the core platforms that are going to be. Meta is making a big investment into it, Meta, the Facebook company. But many other platforms will have to be built, and they will have to build the ecosystem around them to make sense. And then the further developments would become cheaper and cheaper. But today, the cost of trying to build a metaverse of your own, example, like you guys are a media company. If you want to build your own metaverse where virtually we could do these interviews online or something like that, the cost depends on the size of the project. But typically speaking, the software development cost is anywhere around $100 to $200 an hour today. Once the platforms are formed, I think this could go down easily by at least 90% or so. It could get to $10, $20 an hour eventually. But today it's about $100 to $200 an hour, and the overall cost of the project will depend upon the size and scale of the scope of the project.
So it will go down once it becomes widely accepted. So how many
Yes.
people have started using Metaverse as a platform so far in India and globally?
So I think, again, Metaverse is just like Internet of 95. It's very early. People who are buying the Meta's glasses that you talked about, which cost like $1,500. People who are gaming virtually using such similar platform glasses, whether they're Oculus glasses, Meta, or any other
Quest Pro.
companies. All those guys, Roblox is a company where you can do online metaverse-based games and stuff.
Yes.
So all those people who are buying such devices and stuff, so they would be mostly gamers, crypto guys, Web3 guys, or early adopters, corporates, or some innovative guys. So the number would be, you can count, it would not be more than a few thousands actually, if you think about how many of them are really using the metaverse for metaverse. And I'm not including any NFT buyouts here or any digital assets which are more blockchain linked or any crypto community as such. People who are actually gaming online by immersing themselves into a game or into a virtually entertaining or socially engaging platform. That's what a metaverse would be, where you wear the headsets, you become part of another world, and there you're living and doing things. Probably a few thousands at best worldwide, not more, because that's the number of devices they are selling. And without these devices, you can't immerse yourself into such virtual worlds. So a few thousands max, if I have to take a bet, a few 100,000, not more. It's not even 1 million or 1 billion at all as of now. This would change. The glass would eventually may become free, and you would be charged for being part of the virtual world you choose to be in. And depending upon things you do, you would buy the further in-game, in the virtual world accessories, etc. That's how the companies would make money. But so far in the early days, it's only a few early adopters, typically gamers, who are mostly using it.
So with this, countries too are betting big on the metaverse. So Dubai is becoming the center of Web3, with country having its own metaverse strategy. Now, where do you see Dubai in the next 5 years?
So Dubai would continue to attract due to their low taxation, a supportive regulatory framework, and their already existing access to capital, and lots of HNIs who've made a lot of money by investing into the Web3, cryptos, blockchain world. I think they would be a hot destination for sure, especially because their regulatory framework is very open, very collaborative, not too restrictive as of now. And so Dubai would play a role. In 5 years, it would be one of the top 3 or 5 favored destinations for all the metaverse development companies in some sense. They will have a big play, and given how they had been so forward-looking and future-thinking, I think they would certainly get some of the early big platforms coming out of Dubai. It's very possible, but given it's going to be eventually virtual, the physical world boundaries that we live in today may not exist in 10 years' time or 20 years' time. So there would be not necessarily a Dubai or an India or a US or a Japan in the future. The boundaries may be driven by the one metaverse to another you go in and live. But yeah, so far 5 years time, if you take a 5-year horizon, Dubai would certainly have a good play, and they would have some good companies coming out of there.
So here, if we talk about India, what's the potential for academic institutions in India to use metaverse?
So that's one of the very strong use cases of metaverse in my mind. Today, not everybody gets access to good quality education because a good teacher or a professor or a good tutor or a good academic institution can only educate so many people. But imagine if you could scale that impact by creating virtual environments where you don't have to physically move from a city to another city, which becomes a resource or a financial constraint for many people. Imagine if you could do this virtually, and not just online, the Zoom kind of a call, but even sort of getting the feeling that you're sitting next to your professor or your tutor or whoever, and there are hundreds of kids out there and learning from someone. the virtual experience could become way more engaging than what internet offers today online. And you could do this from anywhere else in the country. I think the problem that India has, one of the problems India has, is the lack of educated population. This could actually be solved by a platform like Metaverse. I would wish and hope that somebody out there, and the governments and other regulations supporting education could be solved at a wider scale in India, like India has led in UPI and many other Aadhaar and many other technologies. I wish they could lead in a virtual education experience like this through Metaverse and academic institutions. There would be a Byju's for Metaverse for sure. Some big company some company would move fast and do it very well. It's very likely in the next 10 years that this would happen. So major, big opportunity for everyone.
All right. So how do you think the digital identities are going to play a role in shaping the metaverse forward?
So digital identity is an interesting one. Before digital identity, I think we should think about what is our identity in the physical world today. In the physical world, my identity would be my name, my date of birth, my identity card, my passport, my nationality, etc. Maybe my caste, religion, etc.
Right.
In the virtual world, once we are able to upload our consciousness on the internet somehow, or enter the world by wearing a headset, or somehow get there, I could have as many clones as I want, possibly. I'm not sure if that would be desired or that would be the right thing, but I could have as many as I want. And there would be lots of new characters and creatures created just online. So the artificial intelligence would get an identity. I may have an identity. You may have an identity. There would be AI-led bots that will get an identity. It will be very interesting to see how humanity as a whole evolves. Do we evolve into another kind of a being which is way more superior collectively, or do we still stay different as individuals? So at the basic level, of course, we will all have some version of Aadhaar card, some version of Meta's identity number, some version of identifying individuals. But remains to be seen how this evolves, how it becomes different from the physical world, but at the same time becomes more challenging and somehow different in the virtual world, when now new characters are being born, new robots are going to be there, new bots, new AI, new characters, mergers of different individual identities. How that evolves the population, the people, the thought process, that remains to be seen. But the identity would become a very, very interesting and possibly conflict of interest among the humans versus the new generation of technology that we are creating.
So what do you think is the current size of Metaverse, and what is it going to be 5 years down the line?
So current size, I think, is very small, probably running into a few billions at most. If you think about the global GDP, the global economy every year, it's close to $80 trillion, depending on the year you look at. In 5 years' time, this 80 trillion may reach to, let's say, $100 trillion or 120. I think at least 5% could become metaverse. 5% of 100 trillion would be 5 trillion. So it's easily a 5 trillion market in 5 years' time. Next 5 to 10 years, it's anybody's guess. 1 to 10 trillion is where it may end up. But what it becomes in the next 10, when all the supporting technologies and the virtual platforms become more engaging, the internets become faster, we don't need our bodies anymore, that's where the interest would come. That's where it would get really, really interesting and possibly life-changing for humanity.
So what is the potential disruptive impact scale of Metaverse in the next 10 to 20 years?
So the potential disruptive impact in a positive way is that humans would become, would lose out all the bad things they do collectively. Maybe there would be no wars, maybe there would be no floods and famines and wildfires and so many other the healthcare challenges we face in the world. Maybe all of them would disappear, and the virtual world would be the utopian world we were all advancing towards. In the most ideal case, that may happen. That's a potential impact in 20 years' time, which means that humans would become the next species. So, like from monkeys, apes, we evolved into human beings. Now we are becoming some digital, virtual, human consciousness-led beings who are some kind of a digital and human combination, culmination of a new identity. So maybe that's the evolution of humanity in the most positive way. Equally on the negative side, I think on the other hand, you can think about us just losing out our spiritual connect, our meaning of life, and we just become slaves to the technology and become easily manipulatable, hackable human beings, like what social media has shown us in the last 10 years. In the worst case, we'll just lose out the whole of the purpose of the humanity and the spiritual being that we are meant to be. We are already losing that inner connect today. We are just living in the external life, and the external life becomes virtual. It becomes very easy to hack and manipulate the human beings. We just remain hackable biological animals. So that's a worst case scenario. So I hope somewhere we'll be more on the brighter side than on the worst case side.
So leaving the worst situations, the evolution of humanity in the most positive way. All
Yes.
right. So thank you so much, sir, for being on 3.0 TV and sharing your views and knowledge with our viewers. It was really great having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this was Mr. Kunal Nandwani, co-founder and CEO at U-Trade Solutions and Hashgrove. He gave us an insight to the current scenario of the metaverse market and what it is going to be 5 years down the line. Keep watching 3.0 TV for more such interviews, and do not forget to like, subscribe and share to our channel. And for instant updates, do press the bell icon. This is me, Vishakha, signing off.
हेलो नमस्कार, मैं संदीप कसालकर
और मैं हूँ रुचि शर्मा।
3.0 टीवी में आप सभी का स्वागत।
ये कहावत तो आपने सुनी ही होगी, खाया पिया कुछ नहीं, ग्लास तोड़ा 12 आना।
हाँ रुचि, सुनी तो जरूर है, लेकिन आपका इशारा किस तरफ है?
संदीप, मैं बात कर रही हूँ इंटरनेट पर फैल रहे एक नए मैलवेयर अर्बियम की, जो क्रिप्टो करेंसी होल्डर के वॉलेट को अपना निशाना बना रहा है। रिपोर्ट्स के मुताबिक ये पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन चोरी करने में माहिर है।
जी हाँ रुचि, ये खबर सही है और आपको मैं बता दूं कि ये स्टीम और डिस्कॉर्ड टोकन के साथ साथ टेलीग्राम ऑथेंटिकेशन फाइल्स के अलावा कई 2 फैक्टर ऑथेंटिकेशन, जिसे बहुत ही सिक्योर माना जाता है, और साथ ही साथ पासवर्ड मैनेजर से 2 फैक्टर ऑथेंटिकेशन कोड्स तक पहुंच हासिल करने में भी बेहद आगे है।
फिर तो ये बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है, और अगर इससे बचने का तरीका नहीं ढूंढा गया तो चीजें बहुत बिगड़ सकती है, क्योंकि ये एक ऐसा जाल है जो देखते ही देखते पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन और पासवर्ड्स, कुकीज, क्रेडिट कार्ड इंफॉर्मेशन के अलावा बहुत से दूसरे ब्राउजर्स में बनाए गए डेटा को चुरा लेता है।
रुचि, इसकी तुलना अगर आप किसी तेजी से फैलने वाली बीमारी के साथ कर सकती है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से ये तेजी से क्रिप्टो करेंसी होल्डर्स के वॉलेट्स को टारगेट कर रहा है, उससे देख ये अनुमान लगाया मुश्किल नहीं है कि बस कुछ ही दिनों में ये पूरी दुनिया में मौजूद यूजर्स को इन्फेक्ट कर देगा, और साथ ही फिरौती के मामले भी बढ़ते हुए नजर आएंगे।
बिल्कुल संदीप, पहले हॉट वॉलेट्स को निशाना बनाया जाता था, लेकिन अब बढ़ती टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ कोल्ड वॉलेट्स भी सेफ नहीं रहे हैं। उन्हें भी इस तरह से निशाना बनाया जा रहा है, जो कि बेहद खतरनाक है। तो अब ये सवाल उठता है कि आखिर कोई किस तरह अपने वॉलेट्स को सुरक्षित कैसे रखे।
इतना ही नहीं, इसमें सबसे परेशान करने वाली बात यह है कि कोल्ड वॉलेट, जिसे हम ऑफलाइन वॉलेट के रूप में भी जानते हैं, जो किसी भी नेटवर्क से कनेक्ट नहीं होता है, फिर भी उस पर अर्बियम जैसा मैलवेयर अटैक कर रहा है।
जी बिल्कुल।
तो इस मुद्दे को डिटेल में जानने के लिए आइए हम बात करते हैं साइबर सिक्योरिटी एक्सपर्ट रंजीत राणे जी के साथ। तो रंजीत जी, एज कंपेयर टू हॉट वॉलेट, डिजिटल एसेट की कीज को स्टोर करके कोई कोल्ड वॉलेट्स को यूज करते हैं, जिसे बहुत ही सिक्योर माना जाता है। अब अगर कोल्ड वॉलेट भी हैक होने लगे तो यूजर आखिर करे भी तो क्या करे? अब यूजर के पास क्या ऑप्शंस होगा अपनी कीज को स्टोर करने के लिए?
इस मैलवेयर की कोल्ड वॉलेट को हैक करने की जो क्षमता के बारे में बात की जा रही है, उसके बारे में हमें थोड़ा रुक के थोड़ी और इन्फॉर्मेशन आने का वेट करना चाहिए, क्योंकि कोल्ड वॉलेट इस तरह से बनाए जाते हैं कि उनको कभी किसी भी फिजिकल नेटवर्क से कनेक्ट करने की आवश्यकता नहीं होती है। उनको सिर्फ मशीन से कनेक्ट किया जाता है, और अगर वो मशीन किसी नेटवर्क के साथ कनेक्ट किया गया हो तो हो सकता है कि जिस एप्लीकेशन से उस कोल्ड वॉलेट का इंटरफेस एक्सेस किया जा रहा है यूज़र से, उस एप्लीकेशन का डेटा ये मैलवेयर अपने हैंडलर्स को पास कर सकता हो। सो ये हमें वेट करना होगा देखने के लिए कि क्या असल में यही हो रहा है, क्योंकि वैसे देखा जाए तो बाय डिज़ाइन कोल्ड वॉलेट्स को हैक नहीं किया जा सकता है।
ये बताइए कि अर्बियम मैलवेयर की अडेप्टेबिलिटी बहुत हाई है, इसलिए ये नए नए तरीके से हैकिंग कर रहा है। साथ ही देखा गया है कि मैलवेयर एज अ सर्विस का सर्विस प्राइस और सब्सक्रिप्शन बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहा है। 12 कंट्रीज में इस मैलवेयर से जुड़े केसेस सामने आए हैं। तो ऐसे में किस तरह का एंटीवायरस प्रोग्राम इसे रोक सकता है और किस तरह के डूज एंड डोंट्स हमें फॉलो करने चाहिए इस तरह के हैक से बचने के लिए?
मैलवेयर एज अ सर्विस इस टेक्निक का इस्तेमाल पहले से होते आ रहा है। रैंसमवेयर अटैक्स जो कॉर्पोरेट नेटवर्क्स पे किए जाते हैं उसमें इस टेक्निक का काफ़ी हद तक इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। इस मैलवेयर के साथ हम ये देख रहे हैं कि ऐसे फोरम्स और वेबसाइट्स जहाँ पे गेमिंग के चीट कोड्स के लिए लोग अलग अलग डेटा डाउनलोड करते हैं, वहाँ से इस मैलवेयर को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया जा रहा है। और अगर यूज़र को प्रिकॉशन लेने हैं तो पहली बात तो ऐसे वेबसाइट्स को विजिट ना करें, वहाँ से डेटा डाउनलोड ना करें। दूसरी बात, हम ये बहुत बार देखते हैं कि अगर हमारा एंटीवायरस सॉफ्टवेयर अपडेटेड है तो हमारा ब्राउज़र अपडेटेड नहीं होता है। तो हम जो भी ब्राउज़र यूज़ करते हैं उसको हमने फ्रीक्वेंटली अपडेट करना चाहिए, और इन प्रिकॉशंस से हम ये इंश्योर कर सकते हैं कि ऐसे जो अटैक्स है वो हमारे सिस्टम में या पर्सनल मशीन में ना हो।
जानकारी के लिए धन्यवाद रंजित जी।
संदीप, सबसे ज्यादा हैरानी की बात तो ये है कि इसका शिकार आम ही नहीं बल्कि खास भी हो रहे हैं। यानी जाने माने ब्रांड्स तक को ये अपना निशाना बनाने में कामयाब रहा है, जिसमें एक्सोडस, एटॉमिक, बाइटकॉइन से लेकर इथेरियम अकाउंट्स तक का नाम शामिल है। तो क्या संदीप इस पर लगाम नहीं लगाई जा सकती है?
रुचि, लगाम क्यों नहीं लगाई जा सकती, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यह है कि अर्बियम को बतौर मालवेयर एज अ सर्विस यानी MAAS के रूप में इस्तेमाल करने के लिए रेंट किया जा सकता है। इसकी सर्विस $9 पर वीक अवेलेबल है। इतना ही नहीं, इसकी बढ़ती पॉपुलैरिटी ने इसकी कीमत में $100 पर मंथ तक का उसको बढ़ा दिया है।
इस मॉडल का इस्तेमाल करते हुए रैंसमवेयर ग्रुप ने पिछले साल विक्टिम से क्रिप्टो करेंसी में $180 मिलियन से ज्यादा की वसूली की है। तो आइए जानते हैं अर्बियम की मैलवेयर एज अ सर्विस के बारे में। हमारे साथ जुड़ गए हैं सिक्योरिटी कंसल्टेंट विशाल सरस्वत। विशाल जी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। विशाल, ये बताइए कि 12 कंट्रीज में इस मैलवेयर से जुड़े केसेस सामने आए हैं, तो ऐसे में किस तरह का एंटीवायरस प्रोग्राम इसे रोक सकता है और किस तरह के डूज एंड डोंट्स हमें फॉलो करने चाहिए इस तरह के हैक से बचने के लिए?
ये अर्बियम वॉलेट जो है, ये आपका जो कोल्ड वॉलेट्स की चोरी की जो बात हो रही है यहाँ पर जो आइडियली जो परफेक्टली आप कोल्ड वॉलेट को जिस तरीके से देखते हैं कि आपका कोल्ड वॉलेट ऐसे सिस्टम पे यानी आपकी कीज रहनी चाहिए जो कभी भी इंटरनेट से नहीं कनेक्टेड हो, तो उन पे ये अटैक अभी तक काम नहीं कर रहा है। अटैक काम कर रहा है जब आप ये जो वॉलेट्स हैं, कोल्ड वॉलेट्स जिनको आप डेस्कटॉप पे जिनका ऐप रखते हो, और जब आप अपनी कीज को भी ऐसे तो यूएसबी पे रखते हो, पर उस कोल्ड वॉलेट पे कभी ना कभी तो आपको फंक्शन यूज करने के लिए लानी पड़ेगी, राइट? तो वो जब लाते हैं तो ऑलरेडी मालवेयर अगर है तो वो जब उस समय आपकी कीज को चुरा लेता है, तो अभी वो चल रहा है। सो आपके ब्राउजर एक्सटेंशन में जो चाहे आप मोजिला यूज करते हो, चाहे क्रोम यूज करते हो, सफारी यूज करते हो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता। उन एक्सटेंशंस में आप कई बार कोल्ड वॉलेट्स के को एक्सटेंशंस की तरह रख सकते हैं, चाहे अपने फुल डेस्कटॉप पे रख सकते हैं। बट अगर आपका कोल्ड वॉलेट कभी इंटरनेट से कनेक्ट नहीं हुआ तो आप उसको यूज कैसे करते हैं? तो दैट्स द थिंग। अगर आपके सिस्टम पे ऑलरेडी आ चुका है तो बचाना बहुत मुश्किल है। और ये वो अर्बियम अनफॉर्चुनेटली बहुत स्मार्ट है, बहुत पॉपुलर हो रहा है। एंड द थिंग इज, इसके जो डेवलपर हैं या इसका जो डेवलपर है वो अभी भी इसको वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस बता रहे हैं और इसको एक सर्विस की तरह प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से सिर्फ ये नहीं कि सिर्फ यही हैकर इसको यूज करेगा। ये सब दुनिया के हर हैकर को, हर मलेशियस एक्ट को बोल रहा है कि आप आइए मेरी सर्विस को यूज कीजिए, आप इस मालवेयर को यूज कीजिए, मैं आपको हेल्प कर रहा हूँ। आपको बहुत सावधान होना पड़ेगा। आपको कोल्ड वॉलेट्स के जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं उनको सही में अच्छी तरह से फॉलो करने पड़ेंगे। अपने ब्राउजर में जो पासवर्ड्स की तरह कई बार सोचते हैं कि हाँ हमारा पासवर्ड मैनेजर इसको प्रोटेक्ट करेगा, अर्बियम वॉलेट पासवर्ड मैनेजर से भी स्टील कर रहा है, तो इसलिए आप अपनी कीज रख ही नहीं सकते। कोई भी तरीके से आप और cold wallet मतलब cold wallet. Really be very follow the instructions. Don't go कोई भी शॉर्टकट मत लीजिएगा. इस वायरस से या किसी भी वायरस से कैसा बचा जाए कि अपने सिस्टम को आप हमेशा अपडेट करके रखिए. चाहे आप विंडोज यूज कर रहे हो, चाहे आप लिनक्स यूज कर रहे हो, चाहे एप्पल का मैक ओएस यूज कर रहे हो, कोई भी सिस्टम हो उसको हमेशा अपडेट रखिए. आप जो सॉफ्टवेयर यूज करते हैं उसको रेगुलरली अपडेट करते रहिए. स्पेशली सिक्योरिटी अपडेट्स जब भी आते हैं उनको डिले मत करिए. फ्री के चक्कर में पायरेटेड सॉफ्टवेयर, पायरेटेड गेम्स या गेम्स को हैक करने के कुछ इलीगल तरीके जो होते हैं, इलीगल एप्स या इलीगल बॉट्स होते हैं, उनको डाउनलोड करने से बचें. इवन आपने अगर गेम बॉट्स इंस्टॉल करके रखे तो उनको प्रिवेंट कीजिए कि वो पायरेटेड सॉफ्टवेयर, पायरेटेड गेम्स ना डाउनलोड करें. सो या दीज आर द मिनिमम रिकमेंडेशंस.
विशाल, इस तमाम जानकारी के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और हमें वक्त देने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.
अब अगर इससे बचना है तो अपना एंटीवायरस अपडेट कर लीजिए. क्या पता कब और किस तरह से अनजाने में आप इसका निशाना बन जाए. क्यों, सही कहा ना रुचि?
हाँ संदीप, मैं आपकी बात से इत्तेफाक रखती हूँ क्योंकि अब तक अर्बियम को यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, कोलंबिया, पोर्चुगल, स्पेन, फ्रांस, इटली, रोमानिया, टर्की, लेबनान, इंडिया, वियतनाम और मलेशिया जैसे देशों में देखा जा चुका है.
रुचि, आपको याद होगा कि जुलाई 2020 में ऐसा ही एक मामला सामने आया था जब लेजर नाम के क्रिप्टोकरेंसी हार्डवेयर वॉलेट मैन्युफैक्चरर को हैक कर लिया गया था, जिससे उस समय लगभग 1 मिलियन ईमेल एड्रेसेस लीक होने के साथ लगभग 272,000 कस्टमर्स डेटा को प्रभावित किया गया था. कंपनी के अनुसार पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन जैसे पोस्टल एड्रेसेस और फर्स्ट और लास्ट नेम्स को एक्सपोज किया गया था. चीजें यही नहीं रुकी, बल्कि चोरी किए गए इंफॉर्मेशन को रेड फोरम्स नाम की वेबसाइट पर डंप कर दिया गया था.
संदीप, तब से लेकर अब तक ऐसे मामले कम नहीं हुए हैं, बल्कि दिन ब दिन बढ़ते ही जा रहे हैं और इन्हें अंजाम देने के लिए कई तरह की ट्रिक्स का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, जैसे फिशिंग स्कैम्स, द $5 रेंच अटैक, ऑल्टर्ड डिवाइसेस एंड टैंपरिंग और कई दूसरे नाम इसमें शामिल हैं.
अब रुचि, जो लोग इन सभी ट्रिक्स के बारे में ज्यादा जानकारी नहीं रखते हैं, उन्हें एक बात जानना जरूरी है कि हार्डवेयर वॉलेट को खोने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपने अपनी क्रिप्टोकरेंसी को खो दिया है. यानी कि ये सबसे बड़ा रिस्क नहीं है.
तो फिर रिस्क किस चीज का है?
तो आपको बता दूं कि अगर आप अपना हार्डवेयर वॉलेट डिवाइस को खो देते हैं या वो चोरी हो जाता है तो आप एक और खरीद सकते हैं और अपने डिवाइस को नॉर्मल तरीके से सेट कर सकते हैं. लेकिन इसमें खास बात यह है कि आप अपनी प्राइवेट कीज को सेफ और इससे सेपरेट रखें, यानी बेहद सिंपल तरीके से इसे लिखने और सेफ्टी डिपॉजिट बॉक्स में रखें, या फिर और भी कई ऑप्शंस हैं.
यानी कोल्ड स्टोरेज सिक्योरिटी को अगले लेवल पर ले जाने की जरूरत है, जिसके लिए कई ऑप्शंस मौजूद हैं, जिसमें मल्टी सिग कोल्ड स्टोरेज का नाम शामिल है. ये अपने नाम की ही तरह मल्टी सिग्नेचर वॉलेट को ट्रांजैक्शन पर साइन ऑफ करने के लिए एक से ज्यादा प्राइवेट की सेट करने का ऑप्शन देता है. और संदीप, इस तरह से सिक्योरिटी में एक और लेयर को ऐड किया जाता है. इलेक्ट्रम जैसे वॉलेट या अनचेन्ड जैसे सर्विस मल्टी सिग सॉल्यूशन सेट करने के लिए पॉपुलर ऑप्शंस में से एक है.
जी हाँ रुचि, लेकिन इसके अलावा भी एक और ऑप्शन है जो सिक्योरिटी को बढ़ाने में मददगार साबित हो सकता है. दरअसल 25th पास फ्रेज की बात कर रहा हूं मैं, जिसे ये कुल 25 वर्ड्स के लिए 24 वर्ड सीड फ्रेज में एक एक्स्ट्रा वर्ड्स जोड़ने जैसा है. ये 25th वर्ड डिवाइस में ही स्टोर्ड नहीं है और इसका इस्तेमाल आपके कोल्ड स्टोरेज डिवाइस में सिक्योरिटी की एक एक्स्ट्रा लेयर को जोड़ने के लिए किया जा सकता है.
वाओ, दैट्स ग्रेट. लेकिन संदीप, ये बात भी सच है कि ऐसा कोई वॉलेट सॉल्यूशन अब तक सामने नहीं आया है जो 100% अनहैकेबल हो.
आपकी बात सही है, लेकिन रिसेंट में हो रहे मामलों को देखते हुए बेहद स्मार्ट तरीके से किसी को भी एक्स्ट्रा सिक्योरिटी प्रिकॉशंस, सिक्योरिटी फीचर्स और स्ट्रॉन्ग सॉल्यूशन की तरफ रुख करने की जरूरत है. सो फिलहाल इस स्पेशल स्टोरी में इतना ही, और वेब3 से जुड़ी सिक्योरिटी अपडेट्स को लेकर मैं संदीप कसालकर
और मैं रुचि शर्मा आपसे फिर मिलेंगे. डू लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू 3.0 TV. हैव अ ग्रेट डे. We will keep you connected to the evolving world of NFT.
For accurate and latest updates of cryptocurrency markets and global regulations,
Metaverse and Web3.
3.0 TV covers the latest crypto crimes,
keeps you updated about the global crypto events and exhibitions.
Hello and welcome to 3.0 TV. I am Vishakha Thakur and you are watching the Coin Monitor. Cryptocurrency markets were trading down on Monday on the back of profit taking after a recent spike supported by stocks of companies associated with cryptocurrencies like Coinbase and Block, which gained on better than expected earnings. Bitcoin dropped below $21,000, whereas Ethereum traded below the $1,600 level. In the past 24 hours, 68,100 traders were liquidated, the total liquidations coming in at $116.44 million, according to CoinGlass data. IC15 index of cryptocurrencies was trading down by 3% at 31,420 points. The US Federal Reserve may continue to raise interest rates amid a tightening labor market, as the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that US non-farm payrolls rose by 261,000 in October, beating estimates of 200,000. The global cryptocurrency market cap was trading down at the $1.03 trillion mark, dropping as much as 3% in the last 24 hours. However, the total trading volume was higher by 24% at $80 billion. Investors will be focused on Tuesday's midterm elections in the US, which might have major implications for regulatory policy or economic decisions, analysts believe. US stock futures fell as investors looked ahead to a week packed with congressional midterm elections as well as the latest consumer inflation report. Dow Jones Industrial Average futures fell by 31 points or 0.1%. S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures were 0.15% and 0.25% lower respectively. Bitcoin was trading at $20,790, down 2.2%. Last week was quite volatile for Bitcoin, which was somewhat expected given the events coming from the US. The Federal Reserve raised the key interest rates by 75 basis points on Wednesday, which sent BTC nosediving from $20,800 to $20,000. 2 days later, though, the landscape changed when the world's largest economy published its job report, which was better than expected. So this drove Bitcoin to almost $21,000 at first, but the asset managed to reclaim that level on Saturday. It even spiked to $21,500, which became its highest price tag in roughly 2 months. Sunday was relatively uneventful as BTC remained above $21,000. However, the asset took a dive below that level earlier today. So Ethereum, the second largest crypto, was down by 2.8%, trading at $1,578. BNB was down 5.5% to trade at $333. Solana Sol was down 12% and was trading at $31. Cardano's ADA token was down by 3.5% to trade at $0.40. Doge, the popular meme coin, was trading down by 6% at $0.11. Avalanche AVAX was trading at $18, lower by 5.6%. Shiba Inu was trading down by 3.8% at $0.000012. Ripple's XRP token traded at $0.46, down by 4.3%. Polkadot was down by 3% to trade at $6. On the other hand, Polygon Matic was up by 5% to trade at $1.20. Well, that's all in today's Coin Monitor show. This is me, Vishakha Thakur, signing off. For more such updates, keep watching 3.0 TV. Do like, share and subscribe to 3.0 TV.
फिल्मी सितारों के भी क्या कहने, फिर चाहे वो बॉलीवुड स्टार्स हो या फिर हॉलीवुड स्टार्स, जिन सितारों की दुनिया दीवानी है, जिन्हें वर्ल्ड ओवर करोड़ों लोग फॉलो करते हैं, वो इन दिनों किसी और को फॉलो कर रहे हैं। जी हाँ, इन दिनों स्टार्स के सिर चढ़कर बोल रहा है एनएफटी फीवर। एनएफटी के ट्रेंड को फॉलो कर रहे हैं स्टार्स। जस्टिन बीबर, टिम्बरलैंड से लेकर लिटिल बेबी तक कई जाने माने सेलेब एनएफटी की दुनिया में अपनी किस्मत आजमा रहे हैं। कोई ट्रेंडिंग एनएफटी अवतार खरीदकर उसे बतौर अपनी प्रोफाइल पिक्चर फ्लॉन्ट कर रहा है, तो कोई एनएफटी स्पेस में अपनी खुद की एनएफटी कलेक्शन लॉन्च कर रहा है। लेकिन क्या आप जानते हैं किस स्टार की किटी में है कौन सी एनएफटी? तो चलिए मैं आपको बताती हूँ। इस लिस्ट में सबसे पहले नाम आता है टिमोथी जैकरी मॉसली यानी कि टिम्बरलैंड का, जिन्हें इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर बतौर रिकॉर्ड प्रोड्यूसर, सिंगर, सॉन्ग राइटर और रैपर के रूप में जाना जाता है। मल्टीपल टाइम ग्रैमी विनर टिम्बरलैंड ने पॉपुलर आर्टिस्ट जे-ज़ी, स्नूप डॉग, जेन्युइन और लुडाक्रस के अलावा और कई स्टार्स के साथ जबरदस्त हिट्स दिए हैं। एनएफटी की दुनिया में अपनी मौजूदगी दर्ज कराते हुए टिम्बरलैंड ने बोर्ड एप #590 NFT अपने नाम कर ली है। और ये तो हम जानते ही हैं कि एनएफटी की दुनिया पर फिलहाल अगर कोई राज कर रहा है तो वो है बोर्ड एप यॉट क्लब। नंबर 590 एक 5 ट्रेट एप है जो गोल्डन कार्डिगन, डार्क ब्राउन सनग्लासेस और गले में गोल्डन चेन फ्लॉन्ट कर रहा है। इस कूल लुकिंग एप के लिए टिम्बरलैंड ने चुकाए 74.69 ETH। यकीनन इस लिस्ट में मौजूद सबसे पॉपुलर नामों में से एक नाम जस्टिन बीबर का है, जिन्होंने एनएफटी स्पेस में इन्वेस्टमेंट को लेकर भी खूब पॉपुलैरिटी बटोरी है। यंग पॉप सेंसेशन जस्टिन ने एनएफटी की दुनिया में तब हलचल मचा दी जब उन्होंने एक बोर्ड एप एनएफटी को 500 ETH में हासिल करने के बाद एक एलियन फ्रेंड्स एनएफटी भी खरीदी। वैसे मीडिया के गलियारों में उड़ रही खबरों की माने तो जस्टिन ने ये एलियन एनएफटी महज 2 ETH मिली थी। और कुछ इस तरह जस्टिन ने अपनी एनएफटी लिस्ट में BAYC, क्लोन X, MAYC, डूडल्स और वर्ल्ड ऑफ विमेन जैसे बड़े मेजर प्रोजेक्ट्स में एलियन फ्रेंड्स को भी शामिल कर लिया है। आपको जानकर हैरानी होगी, एनएफटी की दुनिया में अपने खास अंदाज में एंट्री की है। ऐसे में सुपर मॉडल, प्रोड्यूसर और टेलीविजन टैलेंट हंट शो के रूप में जाने जाने वाली हेडी क्लम भी क्रिप्टोपंक एनएफटी परचेज करके एनएफटी मिंट करने की रेस में शामिल हो गई हैं। इस खूबसूरत हसीना ने पिछले साल दिसंबर में क्रिप्टोपंक #3653 खरीदकर अपना एनएफटी डेब्यू किया। इस एनएफटी के लिए उन्होंने 80 ETH यानी $260,000 पे किए। दिलचस्प बात तो ये है कि उन्होंने साबित कर दिया कि वो वाकई ब्यूटी विद ब्रेन्स का परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल है, क्योंकि जिस एनएफटी पर उन्होंने दांव लगाया है उसकी कीमत आज की तारीख में 7 गुना हो चुकी है। वाओ! इतना ही नहीं, वर्ल्ड ऑफ विमेन एनएफटी कलेक्शन में से मल्टीपल एनएफटीज ओन करने के अलावा हेडी की एनएफटी कलेक्शन में टोटल 108 एनएफटीज हैं। आगे बढ़ते हैं। स्नूप डॉग और जे-ज़ी जैसे बड़े नामों को फॉलो करते हुए लिटिल बेबी ने भी एनएफटीज की दुनिया का बाहें पसार कर स्वागत किया है। इस अमेरिकन रैपर की स्पॉटिफाई पर 26 मिलियन से ज्यादा मंथली स्ट्रीम्स है। इतना ही नहीं, इंस्टाग्राम पर भी जबरदस्त फैन फॉलोइंग एंजॉय करने वाले इस रैपर ने भी बोर्ड एप एनएफटी खरीदने का वाइज डिसीजन लिया। इनके पास है बोर्ड एप #129। तमाम बोर्ड एप फैंस जानते हैं कि किसी भी बोर्ड एप को म्यूटेंट बनाने के लिए M2 सीरम यूज किया जाता है। इसी प्रोसेस से लिटिल बेबी ने अपनी #129 NFT का म्यूटेंट वर्जन तैयार किया। खैर, ये ओरिजिनल बोर्ड एप NFT उन्होंने 37.99 ETH यानी कि $170,000 में खरीदी थी। ये तो बस शुरुआत है, यानी इस पार्ट 1 के बाद हम आप सभी के लिए जल्द लेकर आने वाले हैं पार्ट 2, जिसमें आपके किस पसंदीदा सेलेब ने ली है कौन सी NFT हम आपको बताएंगे। तब तक के लिए NFTs पर ऐसी और कई मजेदार स्टोरीज के लिए देखते रहिए क्रिप्टो टीवी। एंड वेलकम टू 3.0 TV। मैं हूं रुचि शर्मा। इंटरनेशनल पेमेंट प्रोसेसिंग जायंट वीजा और मास्टरकार्ड का नाम देश ही नहीं बल्कि दुनिया भर भी मशहूर है।
तो पहले जहां ये कैशलेस इकोनॉमी को बढ़ावा देने के लिए फिएट करेंसी को अपना सपोर्ट दे रहा था, वही अब ये बदलते जमाने के साथ कदम से कदम मिलाते हुए क्रिप्टो के साथ हाथ मिलाकर आगे बढ़ रहा है।
ऐसे में इस साल वीजा और मास्टरकार्ड ने शुरुआत से लेकर अब तक किस तरह से वेब3 की दुनिया में अपनी मौजूदगी दर्ज करवाई है, चलिए नजर डालते हैं।
लेकिन उसके पहले लाइक शेयर करें हमारा वीडियो, सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल और लेटेस्ट अपडेट हमेशा पाने के लिए बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें।
लेटेस्ट खबर की माने तो मेजर क्रेडिट कार्ड कंपनी वीजा 2 रीसेंट ट्रेडमार्क एप्लीकेशंस के बेस पर डिजिटल वॉलेट सर्विसेज को एक्सप्लोर करने की प्लानिंग बना सकता है। जी हाँ, सबमिट किए गए रिकॉर्ड्स की माने तो वीजा इंटरनेशनल सर्विसेज एसोसिएशन ने यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स पेटेंट एंड ट्रेडमार्क ऑफिस में 2 एप्लीकेशंस फाइल किए हैं। अपने कैरेक्टर मार्क के लिए सॉफ्टवेयर में क्रिप्टो एसेट्स और नॉन फंजिबल टोकन्स को व्यू, एक्सेस, स्टोर, मॉनिटर, मैनेज, ट्रेड, सेंड, रिसीव, ट्रांसमिट और एक्सचेंज करने के लिए। इतना ही नहीं, फाइलिंग्स को लेकर यह भी अनुमान लगाया जा रहा है कि क्रेडिट कार्ड कंपनी में भी मेटावर्स की दुनिया को एक्सप्लोर करने की तरफ कदम को आगे बढ़ा रही है।
इस साल की शुरुआत में मास्टरकार्ड ने कॉइनबेस के साथ एक पार्टनरशिप में जाने की बात से पर्दा उठाया था। उसके एग्रीमेंट के हिस्से के रूप में कॉइनबेस कस्टमर्स को क्रिप्टो एक्सचेंज के अपकमिंग NFT मार्केटप्लेस पर परचेज करने के लिए मास्टरकार्ड के क्रेडिट और डेबिट कार्ड के इस्तेमाल की सुविधा दी गई थी।
इसके तुरंत बाद क्रिप्टो फोकस एंटरप्राइज पेमेंट प्लेटफॉर्म ट्राइबल क्रेडिट ने वीजा के साथ हाथ मिलाया ताकि वह लैटिन अमेरिका में मौजूद अपने स्मॉल और मीडियम साइज एंटरप्राइजेस के क्रेडिट और फाइनेंसिंग ऑप्शन को एक्सपांड कर सके, जो ट्रेडिशनल पेमेंट प्रोवाइडर्स और ब्लॉकचेन इंडस्ट्री के बीच बढ़ते तालमेल पर रोशनी डालता है। वीजा के साथ पार्टनरशिप ट्राइबल को मैक्सिको, ब्राजील, कोलंबिया, अर्जेंटीना, चिली, पेरू, पनामा, उरुग्वे और डोमिनिकन रिपब्लिक के साथ लैटिन अमेरिका में लोकल डिनोमिनेशंस और करेंसीज में बिजनेसेस क्रेडिट कार्ड्स जारी करने की अनुमति देती है।
ऐसे में वेब3 की दुनिया में आगे बढ़ते हुए वीजा ने मार्च के महीने में आर्ट, म्यूजिक, फैशन एंड फिल्म पर काम करने वाले एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए 1 साल की प्रोडक्ट स्ट्रैटेजी और मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम यानी वीजा क्रिएटर प्रोग्राम की ऑफिशियल लॉन्च की घोषणा की, ताकि छोटे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स अपने छोटे से बिजनेस को NFTs के जरिए ऊंची उड़ान दे सके।
तो अप्रैल के महीने में पेमेंट्स जायंट मास्टरकार्ड ने एक और बड़ा कदम उठाते हुए हलचल मचाई। दरअसल उसने यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स पेटेंट एंड ट्रेडमार्क ऑफिस या USPTO में 15 नॉन फंजिबल टोकन्स यानी NFT और मेटावर्स ट्रेडमार्क एप्लीकेशंस को फाइल किया था। इस फाइलिंग के मुख्य आकर्षण में डिजिटल एसेट्स के साथ बातचीत करने के लिए एक वर्चुअल कम्युनिटी के प्लान में मेटावर्स में पेमेंट कार्ड्स की प्रोसेसिंग, डाउनलोडेबल डिजिटल गुड्स के बायर्स और सेलर्स के लिए एक ऑनलाइन मार्केटप्लेस, वर्चुअल रियलिटी इवेंट्स और भी बहुत कुछ शामिल है।
इतना ही नहीं, जून के महीने में इंटरनेशनल पेमेंट प्रोसेसिंग जायंट मास्टरकार्ड ने नॉन फंजिबल टोकन मार्केट्स और वेब3 के लिए अपने पेमेंट नेटवर्क को एक्सपैंड किया था। दरअसल फाइनेंशियल सर्विस प्रोवाइडर ने घोषणा की थी कि वे पिछले 1 साल से अपने पेमेंट नेटवर्क्स को NFT में एक्सपैंड करने पर काम कर रहा था। फर्म ने 2.9 बिलियन कार्ड होल्डर्स को पहले क्रिप्टो खरीदे बिना सीधे NFT परचेज करने के लिए अनुमति देने के लिए कई लीडिंग NFT मार्केटप्लेसेस के साथ हाथ मिलाया था।
ऐसे ही आगे बढ़ते हुए इस साल के अगस्त महीने में मेजर क्रिप्टो एक्सचेंज बाइनेंस ने अर्जेंटीना के रेजिडेंट्स के लिए प्रीपेड कार्ड लॉन्च करने के लिए मास्टर कार्ड के साथ में हाथ मिलाया था।
एक के बाद एक डेवलपमेंट की बात हो और सिक्योरिटी की बात ना हो, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता। दरअसल मास्टरकार्ड ने अक्टूबर के महीने में न्यू क्रिप्टो फॉर प्रोटेक्शन टूल